Can you make things up about him?
I don't want to say something that's not actually factual.
But you say like he's a competitor.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
Okay.
If you really need me to make stuff up, he's.
Oh no, you know what? I'm gonna bring up their defensive end, B.J. Morgan. I'm gonna talk about how Mount St. Joe's. I'm gonna start by saying Mount St. Joe getting off to a 3-1 start on the year, and of course a big part of the reason why they've been able to do that is their defensive end, the senior B.J. Morgan.
And after that, I can say.
One second.
I can say that, and the cornerbacks have been a big part of it, and I can mention Brandon. I can go into it if I want.
Right. Okay.
So that's what we'll do.
And welcome, everybody, to Mount St. Joe High School here in Baltimore, Maryland. I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein, ready to bring this football game to you on a rainy Wednesday afternoon for some high school football as Mount St. Joe is taking the field here. We got about 3 minutes until game time, and it certainly is not the best of conditions for a football game, Nathan, but they still play.
Yeah, no, they do. We play rain, sleet, sun, hail. No matter what the conditions are, it could be 100 degrees, it could be negative 100 degrees.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what time.
I'm sure our guys could get through it.
No, we definitely get through it. So
Yeah.
all kinds of weather right now, and the worst part about it was trying to bring all the equipment through and stuff like that. We had problems, but we made it, Julian. We're here. We got here. I ran all the way from my taking my SAT, and we set it up. So all the dedication, bringing it to you live. That's what we do here at GTV.
That is right. As the players are now on the field, and we'll get set for the national anthem probably in a few moments. And, of course, Mount St. Joe getting off to a 3-1 start on the year. This is the first MIAA matchup for both of these games, for both of these teams, rather. And now we are awaiting the national anthem here at Mount St. Joe. And we'll step away for a moment here on Greyhound TV. And with that, we are ready to go here on Greyhound TV as we wrap up the national anthem. The 1-3 Gilman Greyhounds getting set to take on the 3-1 Mount St. Joe Gaels on this rainy Saturday afternoon, not Wednesday. Saturday afternoon for some high school football. And, of course, with Mount St. Joe jumping out to that 3-1 record as we enter MIAA play, a big reason of why they've been able to be so successful is because of the production of their senior defensive end, B.J. Morgan. Nathan, he has been outstanding and put up some great numbers.
No, he does exactly what you want out of your DN. He's got a good swim move, he's got a good power move, he can bull rush you, and that's such a threat when they have those three techniques, with the swim, with the bull rush. And he's able to get behind and cause some havoc in the backfield. That hurts your run game and pass game. Julian is so important to have a good front four, especially at the high school level.
And the crowd here at Mount St. Joe, the small crowd, is rather loud for the size that they are. Of course, not as many people as we would probably normally expect at one of these games, considering the conditions. As each team is still on the sideline as they send out their captains. For Mount St. Joe out there in the middle, you got number 1 Christian Carter, who is a quarterback.
Rumor has it jumping jacks today for the push-ups are raised.
And they put a fresh 12 on the clock for the start of the first quarter coming up. Glad to have all of you with us here on Greyhound TV. Of course, many of you probably not able to come out to today's game because of the weather, and it certainly is coming down here at Mount St. Joe. Maybe the camera doesn't do it quite as much justice as it deserves, Nathan.
No, we have it nice tucked away. No rain's going to hit it, at least we hope. So, you should be seeing it fine from your screen, but the rain's pretty bad here. I don't know if you can tell or not. It's going to affect the conditions of the play, and they're going to have to game plan around it.
That they will, as Gilman entering their first MIAA game, led by first-year head coach Tim Holly. Had a nice win to start the year against Paul Lawrence Dunbar. We were there for that game, but unfortunately suffered 3 consecutive losses to the team from Virginia Beach and then Good Counsel as well as Malvern Prep.
It's been a real tough streak for them, Julian. They haven't gotten off to the start they would have liked. That being said, it's tough. Tough sledding for them because they're so good. The teams they're playing, they stack a really difficult schedule, and that's what you don't want to happen. That's your fear is if we come out and you don't come out as strong as you like, and you start off with a bunch of losses.
So it looks like Gilman will receive the ball to start the game as Mount St. Joe deferred. And we are set for action here from Mount St. Joe's. The rain continues to come down, but thankfully, if you're sitting at home watching, you get to enjoy it without the discomfort of sitting in the rain. Thanks to Greyhound TV. We're glad to have you on board.
It's a good shameless plug of our own broadcast while people are watching our broadcast.
We have no shame. We're glad to have everybody with us, and we're proud of what we do.
Yep.
And proud of everybody that makes it possible, including our faculty advisor, Cesare Cacanti, as well as John Ball, our lead producer, and Cole Vincent here as well.
And Rhett Dawson.
Rhett Dawson, who is on his way, apparently. We'll keep you posted on his whereabouts.
we love making fun of Rhett Dawson here on the stream.
We do. He's a great guy. He really is. Anybody that knows him outside of Greyhound TV knows that he is a responsible and a fantastic contributor to everything that he does. As we get set to go here on Greyhound TV.
And while it is raining, Julian, the wind is minimal, so this shouldn't upset the kicking for both teams.
We've got 12 fresh minutes on the clock for the first quarter. And on to kick for the Hounds is number 99, Adero Mandala. Excuse me. No, it's not. Mount St. Joe's kicking. As this one goes down to Brandon Madison, who will run out of bounds. We're still getting warmed up here on Greyhound TV, and that's a clear sign that we're not completely yet. We'll be there soon enough.
We're trying to get there. My excuse is that I took the SAT and I might be a little bit brain dead. Julian's excuse is he had to move a ton of equipment, essentially by himself with Cesare there helping him out. So, it's been a tough morning for both of us.
That's right. But as we go on in this game, we'll get a little bit better. So bear with us here as we've got 11:59, a solid 1 second taken off the clock by that kickoff.
Not to mention it is raining cats and dogs.
And Nathan, a key point for the Greyhounds this week is the return of quarterback Pernell Hill.
Oh, I can't tell you how huge that was. The offense just looked off their game, and when he's back, they'll be running smoothly.
Pernell Hill, the handoff here to Brandon Madison, trying to find room. Madison making a move on the outside, down the sideline, and he's got a first down as he stumbles out of bounds and tackled there.
You know, one of the things they always like to see out of a running back is they want a guy with elite speed and a really big, strong guy. But what they undervalue, a lot of scouts do, is they don't value as much guys who are able to kind of see the holes as they develop and, take their time. It's a lot of, ball carrier vision is what it's called. And if you have a good ball carrier vision, you can wait for these holes to develop. Your offensive line will block for you, and then you can come out there and make a good play out of a play that didn't look so good at the start of it.
Number 4, Brandon Willis, the receiver on the near side for Gilman, and Pernell Hill under center with a back behind him. He takes the snap, and he will hand this one off up the middle, but Mount St. Joe doing a good job of stopping that run as he is taken down a little bit short of the initial line of scrimmage. Second down and long coming up.
Yeah, they tried to run an ISO on that one, Julian, but the guards just couldn't move those big D tackles out of the way. It's tough to run it when they stack all those linebackers and guards up in there. They had success in the sweep last time, not success with the inside run. Those inside runs kind of develop the sweep, so you run a bunch of those plays early on, and you kind of break them in and feel them out, and you can sort of mold your game plan around that and seeing how that works.
Piper Bond lined up in the slot as Pernell Hill takes the snap and he hands it off to his running back, Brandon Madison. Madison finding room down the near side, and there's a flag down as Madison is taken down around the 45-yard line of the Gaels, but let's check the penalty. Wouldn't be surprised to see a holding call here. But let's get the official word. It is holding on the offense, so Gilman will be backed up 10 yards. Second down and 20 coming up, but they will maintain the down.
What you might not have noticed on that play, Mount St. Joe's defense did a great job sealing that edge. He got around, he forced Madison to the inside, but Madison was able to beat out that outside linebacker, chasing him down and catching the eds. I'm not sure where the holding was, but that was a good run, and it sucks if the holding didn't matter and it didn't kind of count towards the play. So you just kind of want to minimize mistakes, especially in the beginning of the game.
Pernell Hill with a back to his right, Brandon Madison in motion, and they will hand it off to Madison. Madison trying to find room through this Mount St. Joe defense, and he will be taken down after a gain of a couple of yards. So third down coming up here.
And that's a third sweep that Gilman has run. They're trying to catch the edge off these guys. They're trying to make sure they get the pull blockers out there and use the speed to their advantage as up front these guys have stopped up all the ISO play. And, it's been tough up front, so you just try to gut around that edge. They've been successful thus far, but they've run it a lot, and they're becoming predictable.
So it's third down and 5 according to the scoreboard. We're not sure the status of that holding penalty, but it looks like third down and 5 here for Pernell Hill and the Gilman Greyhounds offense as he stands under center, or squats rather. A man in motion behind him. He's back to pass from under center. Looking for an option, and will dump this one off, and it is completed, but not nearly enough for the first down, as they've got a few more yards to go until they can get there. Fourth down coming up here.
Looks like they're taking out the punt team, Julian, and it's not a bad start because you're just feeling them out. They move the ball a little bit. We like to see that. A decent start for Gilman, just trying to get everything settled. The rain's probably very difficult to deal with. You're getting used to the ball and the weather conditions. You expect that at the beginning of the game.
On to punt is Drew Ehrlich, the senior for Gilman, and it appears from what we've been able to find out that they waived off that holding penalty. Fourth down and 2, and the punt is off. This is a good one. Getting down to past the 30-yard line and takes a bounce back above it, and it will be down right at about the 30. So Mount St. Joe will start their drive inside their own territory around the 30-yard line, and this Gilman defense has an opportunity to show what it can do here today.
Yeah, Mount St. Joe just got a favorable bounce on there. It looked like it was going to keep tailing forward, but the ball bounced back. Those bounces ended up being 4 or 5 yards. You don't think about that as being a huge part of the game, but that changes where you set the ball up, and those 3rd and inches and 4th and inches turn out to be a first downs in those scenarios.
The importance of special teams is often understated, but it certainly is something that can change a game,
especially at the high school level.
So here's Christian Carter, the quarterback for Mount St. Joe, and he'll take off. He's running towards the near side looking for room, and he'll be forced out of bounds around the initial line of scrimmage, so second down and 10 coming up.
Now, I don't know if I saw that right, but Joey, it looked like on the right side of the field there was a block in the back that wasn't called. One of the Mount St. Joe guys came around from the receiver position and hit a linebacker right in the back. I guess they didn't catch that one, but it's tough, especially with all the conditions as we mentioned before, especially seeing the ball as a ref.
Hand off to Sam James, and James trying to find room up the middle, and he'll gain a couple of yards. Third down coming up here as James was not able to break through like he would have hoped.
again, for both teams, the inside run's been difficult. The ISO plays, that's all the guards, that's all the fullbacks. So, you rely on those guys a lot in those situations, and now they're moving to the shotgun, trying something a little different.
Carter in the shotgun. Number 6, Keyshawn Haley, the wide receiver on the near side. Carter screaming out to his offensive line. Third down play here. Looking to convert, and they will pass this one. Completed, actually incompleted, as not being able to hang on to the ball was Nate Reese, number 12, and fourth down coming up for the Gaels.
At the high school level, the screen pass is much like a Hail Mary pass, Julian. If you get those guys, the defensive line coming up too aggressively, and you throw it behind them, there's so many blockers running upfield. It's a big play usually if they're not ready for it, and so you have to game plan around that. Mount St. Joe, at least when I used to play last year, they ran a lot of screen passes. They liked to keep the defense on their toes. It's a good idea, especially at the high school level, because guys aren't experienced enough to realize that screen when it comes on them.
So they're in an interesting formation here. Their quarterback is still on the field, and he's going to punt the ball, and it's not a very good one as it takes a bounce across the 50-yard line, and Piper Bond backing up as it moves into Gilman territory. They'll down it just across the 30.
That could have been disastrous for the Mount St. Joe Gaels, but the bounce just continued to roll. So you get a little bit of lucky there. But that's interesting, Julian. I don't know if their quarterback is their usual punter or if they're trying something a little bit different there. But whatever the case may be, it actually ended up working out. So an interesting play call that caught us off guard.
Certainly interesting at every single level of football. You can see some odd, maybe some aggressive special teams plays we saw last year that Chuck Pagano against the New England Patriots called so a bizarre play that no one still is really able to understand, but every coach is willing to take risks on special teams, and as we talked about before, special teams are important, and sometimes that'll pay off.
Yeah, the best part about that play was that they weren't even lined up in a legal formation, and it was a sack right away, so that makes absolutely no sense, but yeah, special teams are important.
Purnell Hill lined up in the pistol formation. He'll hand this one off up the middle, and finding room is Brandon Madison down the far side. There goes Brandon Madison as he's pushed out of bounds just short of the 30-yard line to the 35.
Brandon Madison hasn't been extremely explosive this game, but what he has been really good at is he's been finding holes and kind of being very careful. He's not running out too quickly. He's setting his feet. He's keeping a really low and balanced posture, and it's been working out for him. He's been catching that edge. His speed is just that superior that even when he's not just exploding out of it like a gun, he's kind of just motioning in there and moving up and about and using his agility to kind of make plays.
So once again, Purnell Hill lined up in the pistol formation, and here is, and I believe that was Rob Levine on the carry. He'll be taken down for a loss of a couple of yards.
Julian, I know you have strong reservations about the pistol formation. Not a huge fan of it yourself.
I'm not. I've never been a huge fan of the pistol. I like it either under center or the shotgun, but that's just me, Nathan.
Yeah, no, but so what the pistol does is it's like having the advantage of a shotgun where guys aren't going to be in your face and you're not relying on the offensive line to hold their blocks too much. But it's not that far back where you can still run the ball. That's the advantage of it, and that's why a lot of college and high school teams like it so much.
Second down and about 11 yards. Back to pass is Purnell Hill, immediately under pressure, and the screenplay doesn't work as this pass trickles out of bounds. Third down and long coming up for the Greyhounds, and if you are the Gilman coaches on the sideline, I think you give Purnell Hill an opportunity to pass here, Nathan.
Yeah, definitely, especially with this much ground to make up. You see on that last play, number 53, Ryan Gorman did a good job of breaking that up from the outside linebacker position. They had a blocker ahead of him. Madison had some room to work with, but he knocked into both of them and just disrupted that play, so great job by him. And yeah, if I'm the offensive coordinator in this situation, I'm definitely sitting back in the shotgun airing it out, but the defense knows that, so you don't want to be too predictable. You want to try something out of your trick books here.
Third down and 11. Brandon Willis and Piper Bond, the receivers on the field. Two backs in the backfield with Purnell Hill, one to his left and one behind him. 7:34 to go in the first quarter, as moving in motion is Brandon Madison. He's the receiver on the far side as Purnell Hill takes the snap, looking for an option, stepping up in the pocket. There's a flag down as Purnell Hill running to the near side and getting a nice block from Brandon Willis. He's pushed out of bounds just short of the first down here.
One of the things they don't talk about a lot and they don't teach you a lot, even at the high school level, is when those crackback blocks come, so the receivers are coming back in, and you have to be careful because on an earlier play you saw Mount St. Joe, the guy tried to crack that block, hit him in the back. On that particular play, that's how you want to do it. You hit him from the side on the shoulder pad, preferably a little bit in front so it looks a little bit more clean. But yeah, those plays are devastating because guys just aren't having their heads on a swivel. They're not looking back behind them. They're looking at the runner, and it's a surprising play, and it usually leads to devastating hits and, in worst cases, injuries.
So 4th down and 2 is the spot here for the Greyhounds inside of Mount St. Joe territory. And it'll be interesting to see if they allow the offense to stay on the field and go for it here rather than making their kicker try a rather long field goal in slippery conditions. And it looks like they'll give Pernell Hill the opportunity alongside his offense. Piper Bond, the receiver in the slot. 4th down and 2 as there's a flag out, and it looks like this is going to go against Gilman. So an illegal substitution call on the Greyhounds will back them up.
The number 34, I think, isn't even on the roster, so I don't know who that is.
Yeah, we don't know who number 34 is. So,
but he's out in the field, and I think that might be what the call is. I was trying to...
Perhaps. So now 4th down and 7 as the illegal substitution penalty will back the Greyhounds up 5 yards.
I'm not sure what that call was on. It doesn't look like it was on him entering, but yeah.
We're not really sure about that.
No clue.
Yeah. As Pernell Hill will line up in the shotgun with a bunch formation of receivers. To his left is Brandon Madison on 4th down and 7 inside of Gaels territory. In motion is Brandon Willis on the near side. Rolling out is Hill. Hill under pressure, and he'll dump this one off on the far side. There it goes, Brandon Madison.
He's got a hole.
Brandon Madison all the way down the sideline. Touchdown, Gilman.
Julian, those screen passes, as I mentioned, they're deadly because, as I said before, the defensive line gets aggressive on 4th and 2, Julian. They're thinking something underneath. You want to get quick pressure, and you just slide it right by them. And he did a good job of catching the outside. His blockers did a good job setting up blocks, and that was a nice touchdown play right there.
Pernell Hill initially looked to the left as Brandon Willis was in motion trying to get open, and then he looked to his right. Right there was the running back, Brandon Madison. Takes the ball, uses the speed to get around the defenders, and just before you know it, he's in the end zone.
Yeah, Julian, I love that play call because it looks like the first read was to the left, and then he dumps off a screen pass. That's really tricky because the defender's going to be watching his eyes, and when they're watching his eyes move there, they end up throwing to the right. Good play.
So it looks like they went for 2 here, and they did not get it. So it's 6-0 Gilman as they opted to go for 2 instead of trying to kick the extra point in these conditions, although they just gave Gilman a point. I don't think that is correct.
Maybe they're being generous, Julian.
Maybe they're just handing out free points today.
Halfway is 1 point.
So now they change it back to 6,
right,
and Gilman is up by 2 field goals rather than a full touchdown and extra point.
So it looked like they went from that weird special teams formation that they ran a lot, but this time they actually ran a play out of it, and it didn't end up working out. It's like we line up in the strange formation, and then we go to the kicking formation, so it kind of messes with the defender's head. It's an interesting play call there. It didn't seem to work out at all. But, I expect to see other tricky plays coming from that formation because it's such a weird one. You don't know how to line up against it.
Right. Glad to have all of you with us here on Greyhound TV. I'm Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein. Gilman is winning, and let's hope it stays that way here at Mount St. Joe. As we take it back down to the field, getting ready to kick the ball off is the senior Adero Mandala. This time it's actually him.
Yes, this time it's not.
This time it's the right team.
Yes. Not Mount St. Joe's
kicker.
Fake kicker, Adero Mandala.
Yes, of course.
Unless
there are 2 of them. We've cloned him.
Yeah. It's a good kicker.
Good? Yeah. Can't get enough of Adero Mandala. So we just handed Mount St. Joe one, too. 7:16 to go as Mandala kicks this one deep. And this will bounce out of bounds, and Mount St. Joe will get the ball with good field position as they'll spot this ball. I'm not sure if it's the 40-yard line for high school. It may be a little bit shorter than that. I believe it is.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. I know Mount St. Joe tried the same play earlier where they kicked it down that sideline, which it's a good play if it ends up rolling in bounds because they pick it up and there's defenders all over them and they usually aren't able to return it for much. But the risk there is it slips out of bounds and now they get good field position. And now Gilman has to kind of dig in the ground here and stop these guys because they're going to be in a better field position than they would normally be.
Back on the field, Mount St. Joe quarterback number 1, Christian Carter. Carter lined up with the shotgun with a back to his right. Back to pass Carter. Over the middle he goes, and this one is incomplete as it fell short of the intended receiver. He was not able to bring it in. That was number 12, Nate Reese, the intended receiver on the play, as he steps back to the line to be the slot receiver on 2nd down and 10.
Number 6 broke free on that play. If they would have waited a little bit more in the pocket, he might have had a touchdown on that one.
Carter hands this one off up the middle, and going nowhere is Sam James. So James picks up about 2 or 3 yards, but nothing significant as 3rd down's coming up.
The nice thing about the turf is if this was on grass, they would have the mud factor, and players wouldn't be able to run as easily as they normally can. But since we have the turf, the cleats are going to be digging in just fine, and the rain's not going to be as a big problem as it would normally be.
Back to pass Carter. Carter looking for a receiver on the far side, but it falls incomplete, well short of the intended receiver. That was number 14 on the play, Matthew McDonald, that Carter was looking for, but not able to get it to him. So Mount St. Joe faces a 4th down here, down by 6 points to the Greyhounds. And they've got their offense here on the field, but I don't think that really means anything considering that last time around, Carter was the man who punted. And he's back to pass on 4th down, and he's going to lob it, and it's well over the head of number 6, Keyshawn Haley. So that'll be a turnover on downs, and Gilman gets great field position.
Yeah, I saw him on the 3rd down play on the right side. It might have been the 2nd down play where he kind of broke free, and they looked like if they would have waited like a second or two more, the quarterback would have saw that and hit him for a huge play. We saw them line up in that position with the quarterback hiking the ball in the special teams unit last time. That time they actually ended up punting it. This time they go for it. It looks like it's going to be like a 50-50 with that because you do have your quarterback out there. So an interesting play call. I don't like to take those risks that early in the game. So you don't want to give up this field position to Gilman after getting good field position yourselves.
So back on the field is Purnell Hill, flanked by running backs. On the near side, it's Piper Bond, the receiver.
I think Ehrlich just entered on the right side.
Yes, he's in the slot as they hand this ball off to Brandon Madison, who makes a great juke move, but then's taken down around the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 10.
It's a power juke right there. Julian did a great job. That's a lot of muscle and a lot of agility right there, kind of digging into the dirt and like shifting back to that side. It's slippery conditions, so it's going to be hard if his cleats are able to kind of like dig in there on seeing those plays. As a defender, you got to watch the hips and not try to get juked out like that. So that would be my key for you if I'm telling you as from the position of a linebacker coach.
Purnell Hill under center. Looks like Dylan Bird is checked into the game as a tight end wide receiver. And this will be a play-action pass by Purnell Hill and completed over to Dylan Bird. Dylan Bird going down the sideline, and Bird is taken down at around the 20-yard line. Great play there. Great pass from Purnell Hill on the run under pressure.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of slide steps from this Gilman offense, and we're seeing a lot of dump-offs because Mount St. Joe's being extremely aggressive. So the dump-off play works where the entire defensive line comes through and you just throw it by them. And we've done that for the touchdown. And you know what? My theory is, Julian, if they don't stop it, just keep on doing it.
Interestingly enough, Dylan Bird is actually number 15, but wearing number 17 today. But we're able to recognize that it's him because there's nobody quite as tall as him on this team as they hand this one off on the end around. And it will be a gain of perhaps a yard, maybe nothing. 2nd down coming up.
And we had a lot of complaining to do about the Gilman offense last week, but this week they've been nothing short of exceptional. They've been running up and down the field. It hasn't been as much of a problem as it was. We only got, I think, 2 first downs last game. So, we're not meeting as much resistance as we did the game before. And you like to see that these guys have come back. They've worked hard. They've game planned around it. And, it shows itself out in the field.
The offense knows they have a lot to prove today, and the return of Purnell Hill will make that a lot easier. As he takes the snap and hands this one off, and rather he actually keeps it and is taken down in the backfield. It'll be 3rd down and long coming up as the sack by Mount St. Joe getting in the backfield quickly will set Gilman up around the 30-yard line with 3rd down and about 15 to go.
Yeah, a little bit of a play fake there, and just they got overwhelmed. The D-line just crashed completely in, and that's what Gilman's been taking advantage of. They've been waiting for the line to crash in and throw it by them. They're hoping that Mount St. Joe is going to be a little more cautious, but they just keep sending these guys through the A-gap, outside. They're coming all over. Joe, and I'd say you just keep dumping it off and moving the ball that way. It's worked out so far, and they're not even changing their game plan.
3rd down and 15 from the 25 of Mount St. Joe. In motion is Brandon Madison, the receiver now on the near side. Hill's going to lob this one over the middle, and it's caught. Brought in down the middle of the field by Thomas Booker, it looks like.
Julian, and it's Thomas Booker because no one's quite that big, no one's quite that strong, and no one has that great of a vertical as he does out in the field. He just leaped up there. There's no chance they stopped that. He's way too tall. He jumped way too high there. I run that play all game. I can't see any way to stop it. It's like watching Gronk out there. It's so much bigger than everyone else, and you just can't cover a guy like that.
A man in motion, and taken direct snap by Brandon Madison. Madison won't gain much, maybe a yard on the play. That was a great catch there by Thomas Booker on the conversion. Able to go vertical, getting the ball. We saw a great catch against Good Counsel that he got in the end zone on a 4th down and 4. We know that he's got the ability to go get those balls.
Reliable hands, Julian, and again, he's just such a mismatch. So he gets open almost every time, and, he did a great job corralling it. Took a really huge hit right there from the safety. That most guys, drop that ball, but, he's just showing he has phenomenal hands.
So here's the handoff on the end around, looking for room and getting into the end zone. Touchdown Gilman, Brandon Willis.
And there on the end around, the receiver comes around. It's hard to realize that play because you have the cornerback sitting over there. He has to stay home. The receiver kind of becomes untouched out there, and you get a bunch of blockers out on that side. Again, it looks beautiful when it works, and it looks terrible when it doesn't work. That time it worked, and it looked beautiful.
12-0 Gilman here with 3:40 to go in the first quarter. What a start for this offense, Nathan.
Yeah, and I think right now in this situation you're going for 2. Just because you've already given up, you failed the first time, and it looks like they're going to kick it. So never mind. We'll settle for 13, I guess.
We like to speculate here on Greyhound TV.
Lucky number 13.
Even if we have evidence in front of us that that's not going on, we like to believe what we want to believe. As Indero Mandala will kick this one down the middle, and this will be good. 13-0 Gilman.
I mean, that would have made sense if we had have done that the first time instead of trying to run a 2-point conversion.
It certainly would make sense to go for 2 in a situation like this. They went for it the first time and didn't get it. And with this rain going on here, it's tough to get that snap down for the holder. That can be really tricky, and that can cost points. You might as well try and get those 2 yards.
Yeah, it seems like the 2 is a lot more guaranteed with these conditions.
But they didn't get it last time, so I understand the call.
On top of that, though, you're down. It's 12-0, and if you get the 2-point conversion, it's a 2-score game. And they have to go for 2 to win it or to take the lead. And the other situation where you like go and don't get it, it's 12-0, and they can still score 2 points and take the lead. And then the other situation, which would have been them just kicking the field goal there, it's the same as if they missed it because the other team can still kick 2 field goals and take the lead with 2 scores. So it just doesn't make as much sense as going for 2 because going for 2, you can at least guarantee that it's probably going to be a tie.
Right.
In this situation, 13 or 12, it doesn't matter unless they miss their field goal. A lot of things going on. I'm trying every scenario. Just play the game. Just play the game. Whatever you can get. If you think you can get that, go ahead and get it. I don't know what to tell you.
Glad to have all of you with us here on Greyhound TV. I'm Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein, bringing you this game between Mount St. Joe and Gilman, the first game of MIAA play for both of these teams this year, returned by Mount St. Joe, finding room on the near side, and he's taken down number 2 on the play for Mount St. Joe, Darren Dunmoody taken down.
For a second there, I thought he was going to break that free, Julian, and then my heart just stopped as we saw this big hole open up. It looked like you can drive a small truck through it. You can drive a Subaru through it. Something of that nature. And
maybe more like a compact car, like a Toyota Camry or
Fiat at least.
Maybe a smart car.
Yeah. But it closed in on him so fast. Like Gilman reacted and did a good job with their assignments, clearing that up and not letting them break that free. But that was dangerous.
So the wind has changed direction, and we're getting a little bit of mist here in our makeshift booth as back to pass is Carter going over the middle, finding an open receiver, and he's got a first down and a little bit more down the far sideline. Number 10, Gary Aggers with the reception and the run after the catch.
That's a 5-wide side right there, Julian. It's a great play. I love running this type of plays because you get all these guys sweeping around the back, and then the underneath becomes wide open. The linebackers have to honor the deep ball. You push the defense back, and you just throw it underneath. So a lot of, you spread it out and just kind of picking them apart. Good play call by them.
The handoff up the middle to Sam James, and James will be taken down after a gain of 2 yards. 3:15 to go in the first quarter. Gilman leading this game 13-0. It's a misty, rainy, and raw afternoon here at Mount St. Joe on this Saturday. But we don't mind.
We're getting a little mister, Julian. Yeah,
that's right. Really, it's cooling us off a little bit.
It's calming.
Yes, absolutely. And if you guys weren't feeling like coming out to the game here today in these somewhat terrible conditions, we're happy to bring this game to you. As stepping up in the pocket is Carter. Carter taking off with his feet, and he'll be taken down a few yards short of the first down. They'll need to convert on 3rd.
Yeah, good awareness by Carter as he realizes the pocket just breaks down right there, and he uses his feet. That's exactly what you need to do. He protected himself by going down pretty easy. Good play by Mount St. Joe, and a great play by Carter, realizing the situation and making the best out of it.
Absolutely, as we send it back down to the field here. 3rd down, and there's a flag out here, and the Mount St. Joe crowd's pretty happy about it because it's encroachment on Gilman and an automatic first down.
That's just not using your head right there, Julian, and your coaches will scream at you for that. They hate to see that. It's between that and holding is the worst things. They pull their hair out, they yell at you because that's just a dumb. There's nothing. It's one thing if you get beat, but it's also one thing if you make a dumb mistake like that. And
that's
coaches just hate to see that because you tell them at least 100 times, to watch the ball, watch the ball, watch the ball, watch the ball, and then they don't watch the ball.
2:16 on the clock with the clock running in the shotgun. Carter. Back to pass on 1st down and 10. Stepping up in the pocket, throwing down the near side, and it's completed. A great bullet pass into the arms of Keyshawn Haley.
Yeah, and with those bullet passes in this condition, Joy, and he doesn't have gloves on, you think it's a great catch too. because that slippery ball is coming at you. It's coming at you really fast, really hard, and good job, keeping his feet in bounds, making a possession catch right there and getting out. A great play by the offense. They're moving the ball, Julian, and it's been looking really good for them so far. Whatever they've changed, it's working out for the better.
Bunch receivers on the near side. Quick pass over to Haley. Haley looking for room, and he'll be tackled by Thomas Booker and almost pushed out of bounds, but the clock will continue to run as he wasn't quite on the chalk. 1:53 on the clock here. Second down and about 9 yards here on the play.
And so that was a wide receiver screen right there. You had the inside slot guy kind of come back, and you had the receivers block for him. That's a tough play to run because the receivers aren't usually the best blockers on the team, and they have to hold those blocks for a long time.
Carter, the handoff to Sam James. James looking for room on the near side. He's being pursued as there's a flag down as he stumbles across for the first down. Now let's see the call and see how this affects the outcome of the play. Awaiting an official word.
I think it's going to be holding here, Julian.
That it is. So this will back up Mount St. Joe. They'll get to keep the down, but they'll lose 10 yards. Or maybe they won't, considering that earlier in this game, Gilman got called for holding, and they didn't lose any yards.
You know, Julian, I just don't know. You just kind of you assume, we make our speculations, and then usually they're wrong.
I criticized you earlier for speculating, but I think sometimes we have to do that.
Yeah, we have to speculate because, it's a lot of dead air time right there. You got to fill it with something, so you just kind of assume a few things. And then,
will you ever forgive me?
You know what? I'll find it in my heart to forgive you.
I hope you do. I hope you do. As we've got a lot more time left in this one, you better get used to me. Back to pass is Carter on the play action pass, rolling out. And now he's going to run with it. Tucking and running is Carter. Carter bringing defenders with him as he's taken down. And he's got about 12, maybe 11 yards to go until a first down. And third is coming up here.
Yeah, Julian, that's a great play if it's first down and 10 or, second and 5. But on third or second and forever, it's tough to take those quarterback runs. They're not going to get a lot of yards. You might as well just kind of air it out a few times and hope you get lucky.
Keyshawn Haley lined up in the near side. Third down and long for Mount St. Joe. Looking for an option. Carter with all day to throw, and he'll step up the middle, but nowhere close to the first down. He's tackled after he tucks and runs.
Yeah, the defense is game planning really well because all the receivers were blanketed there. There was no room to operate. And so, the quarterback for the second time in a row has had to step up in the pocket and try to make a play with their feet. You can't ask that guy to break off a 20-yard run with his legs. It's just too difficult.
The mist is coming down here at Plevyak Field and Mount St. Joe High School, and it looks like they're going to go for it here with 27 seconds left in the first quarter. They're going to lob it over the near side, the far side rather, and it's incomplete. And that will be a turnover on downs. Gilman will get the ball inside of their own territory.
The worst part is Mount St. Joe worked so hard to get great field position on that play, and it turns out to not give them anything. They didn't even get a field goal out of it, so you wasted a lot of time, and you didn't convert when you needed to convert. It's a tough play. I assume their kicker couldn't have made that field goal. It was pretty long. You don't like to try those fourth and forever plays, so I don't think they had a situation or an opportunity there. What really ended up killing that drive, and their drive coach joined, is a holding penalty that brought him out. That would have been a first and goal, and then you saw it was a second and forever, and they just couldn't pick it up. They had no shot.
So Gilman back on the field here. Purnell Hill lined up in the shotgun with a back to his left. Takes the snap, and he's going to hand this one off up the middle, looking for room. Brandon Madison will be taken down around the initial line of scrimmage.
Gilman, I think, is just going to run out the clock as we'll or not. Sorry, no, I'm getting confused. I'm thinking it's halftime. They'll run out the first quarter here.
They will. So you're half right.
Yeah, I'm half right.
But you weren't right about the half.
No. Well, it seemed like they just kind of stopped, and they started walking back, and I'm like, oh, it must be halftime, and I just didn't. I had a little bit of a brain fart there, Julian, SATs, I'll do that to you.
It happens. A lot of thinking this morning for the SAT. We know that you're cerebrally exhausted.
Yes.
But hopefully you can do your best in the rest of this game, really get through it. And I'll do my best to help you, Nathan.
Yeah, I'm going to have a sore throat and a burned out brain when I go back home, and I'm probably going to crash for about 8 hours and then wake up at like 10 o'clock, somewhere around there.
I think I may too, and I didn't even take the SAT.
I know.
So
It's been an exhausting morning, especially dealing with these conditions.
That it has been, as a fresh 12er on the clock here for the second quarter. Glad to have all of you with us here on Greyhound TV. I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein here at Mount St. Joe High School, our fantastic crew alongside us, John Ball, Cesare Cacanti, and of course, our good friend Cole Vincent on the camera.
And then Rhett Dawson's also kind of here. He just showed up.
Wow, look who's here. Rhett Dawson is
the Stanford Red.
Rhett, you want to come over and just say hi to our audience? Rhett Dawson is finally here, and
hello, everyone. Hi. There you go.
And for all of you that needed to see Rhett Dawson's face, there he is. You can go continue whatever you're doing, Rhett. Yeah, we're on face cam.
Continue to eat. We're in the Stanford red, nonetheless. Man, I love it.
So he continues to contribute to Greyhound TV. I'm not sure how exactly, but he's doing something. As the man in motion, they're going to hand it off on the end around to Brandon Willis, and Willis looking for room. There's a flag down as he's hit hard and taken down. The ball is out, and Mount St. Joe says they have it, but there are flags out.
Yeah, Mount St. Joe says they have it.
So it looks like the official ruling is that Mount St. Joe recovered the fumble, but we're awaiting the call on the flag, and we'll see if that negates it.
Yep. Looks like it won't.
Holding against the Greyhounds, and Mount St. Joe will get the ball inside, deep inside Gilman territory on a costly mistake by this Gilman offense.
You know, I want to be mad at them for fumbling the ball, but there was just a swarm of purple that came over. At least 5 guys just trampled them right there. The blocking only held up for so long. The run just took too long to develop, and now the Mount St. Joe has great field position. We'll see if they can capitalize on it.
The cheerleaders shouting, "Let's go St. Joe," as Carter's back in the field alone in the shotgun on 1st down and 10 from inside Gilman territory. A lob to the end zone, and it's incomplete as it falls out of the hands of number 6, Keyshawn Haley. Second down coming up.
Cornerbacks for Gilman have been playing phenomenal so far. They've shut down every deep pass attempt right there. He sat down in the zone. Great job just with the awareness and knowing the ball's coming and knocked it down. You can't ask more for that, Julian.
Carter once again in the shotgun. He's got Sam James to his right, and the receiver on the near side is number 14, Matthew McDonald. Carter hands this one off to James. James cutting back. James looking for room up the middle, and Sam James is close to the first down. He may have a fresh set for Mount St. Joe.
All this rain coming down, Joe, and it looked like lubricated him up a little bit. He was slippery. He kind of slipped in between guys, and a great run right there. And looks like they're in the hurry up. They're trying to take advantage of Gilman being a little tired here.
He's already so elusive, but being slippery certainly doesn't help Gilman as Sam James stumbling forward, and he's got a first down as that was 3rd down and short.
And they're keeping up the tempo. Gilman's not able to make any adjustments and make any substitution changes for this goal line. So you think Mount St. Joe's trying to capitalize about Gilman being disorganized here.
Hurry up offense. The handoff to Sam James, and James is hit hard in the backfield by number 32, Alex Sladzinski.
Yeah, they ran a very similar play.
Excuse me, Antonio DeCerbo. My apologies.
A similar play,
yes.
A couple times in a row, and that's how you stop the hurry up. You hit them for a loss, and they have to kind of, reconsider what they're doing here. They're just trying to rush things a little bit too much.
Number 32 is Antonio DeCerbo. Number 23 is Alex Sladzinski. My mistake.
Yeah, it's just the numbers flipping around.
I switched it a little bit.
Can't blame you. I've done far worse.
10:46 to go in the second quarter. Carter in the shotgun. Sam James to his left, a quick pass, and this one a diving catch, and it's a touchdown for Mount St. Joe, as diving for the catch in the end zone was number 10, Gary Aggers.
Great catch by him. That's an elite level catch right there. Lays out for it in tough conditions and, gets his arms under it so he doesn't trap the ball, but he just brings it in, caresses it, and the guy falls down. A great catch right there in a tough condition. That out route join at the goal line is just so hard to stop because it's so quick and it's so effective when you throw it right.
You got to love that with the touchdown. The Mount St. Joe crowd, at least a portion of it, got up and did the ESPN chant. Da-da-da. That was something. Haven't seen that anywhere so far, but certainly a unique touchdown celebration.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a very enthusiastic crowd. These guys are all around us, too, so I assume our microphones are picking them up to some degree. You can hear these guys.
10:39 to go, as capitalizing off of the Brandon Willis fumble is the Mount St. Joe offense, 13-7, as now they're going with some other chant here. Da-da. I'm trying to remember what song this is.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, we all know it, and I'm sure you
we
all
know
are,
where it's from.
We're sure that you're all enjoying our rendition.
80s song? I don't know.
I don't think this is an 80s song.
This is a chant. It's college. It's from somewhere.
Yeah,
I've heard it before.
We've all heard it. I don't think we know what it's called.
There's a European band. I'm like kind of sure.
If you have any idea, feel free
Text
to tweet
us.
us.
Or tweet us.
Tweet us the answer at Greyhound_TV. That's at Greyhound_TV because we're very curious.
Yes, and we can read out your name as your reward.
We'll give you credit, as this one is fielded on a bounce by Gilman, looking for room, and Brandon Madison is taken down around the 30-yard line just across it. So the Gilman offense coming back onto the field, trying to hold on to the ball this time. It's tough to do that when it's raining like this, Nathan.
Yeah, the ball is really slippery, and it'll slip out on these hard hits. These guys are coming at them 100 miles per hour, laying the wood, and it's just tough to keep the ball on your. You got to tuck it into the corner of your arm. That's what coaches will teach you. They'll move it up, kind of keep it in this this weird like V-shaped position with your arm. As to not fumble that, but you can do everything right, and you can still get it knocked off on just a great hit. Sometimes they'll put the helmet right through where the ball is supposed to go and just make an absolutely great play.
So here's the handoff up the middle, and taken down to the backfield is Brandon Madison. Second down and long here for Gilman with 10:24 to go in the second quarter. Mount St. Joe was not able to do anything in the first quarter, but now that we're moving into the second, they've found some momentum.
Mount St. Joe yelling, push him back.
Piper Bond lined up on the near side. Clapping his hands is Pernell Hill in the shotgun, and he'll take the snap, a low snap, rolling out towards the near side, and he'll lob it, a high pass that goes over the head and just caught a finger of Piper Bond, the junior.
Yeah, and if you want to miss a guy, you want to miss him high and outside, Julian, because that doesn't allow the defense to come and undercut it and pick that route. So, I guess he wasn't sure of his arm, and, throwing on the run's very difficult to do, especially at this level. So, just trying to make a play right there. Needed to be a little bit lower. It was a good pass, but not a great pass.
13-7 Gilman. They lead by only 6 points. Trying to get some insurance scores.
Gilman's running a lot of a spread out here right now, Julian, and they're trying to do exactly what Mount St. Joe is. You dissect their corners. They usually bring a lot of guys in the box, and so you're trying to take advantage of that.
3 wideouts on the near side. In the slot is Zach Jones. Pernell Hill fakes the pass. Now he's running up the middle, and he will be taken down after looks like a gain of nothing, maybe a yard. So 4th down and long for Gilman, and they will be forced to punt in this situation, as stepping onto the field is the senior Drew Ehrlich.
And now Mount St. Joe gets the ball back, Julian. As we said earlier, Gilman only has 13 on the board, so Mount St. Joe, all they have to do is score again and kick a field goal, and they're up by 1. And, worst case scenario is that they score a touchdown and they just tie it here. So it's becoming Gilman established a nice lead, and that lead's starting to crumble here as we enter the second half.
Turning out to be a pretty good game so far. Close here. Both teams fighting hard as this snap is fumbled by Drew Ehrlich, and Ehrlich's going to have to do something with it, and that's what the rain will do to you, as he's still on his feet. But Mount St. Joe, once again for the second consecutive time, is going to capitalize off of a Gilman turnover inside their own territory. The first time the fumble, the second time the bobbled snap by Drew Ehrlich, and the turnover on downs.
One thing, you don't like to highlight certain things and just bad plays, but Ehrlich really fought hard to get back to that line of scrimmage. You see him pushing after 3 guys. There's nothing he could have done there, but a lot of fighting him. He was putting his heart out there just trying to get a first down, but he got shoved out by like 5 guys. It's so tough because you fumble the snap and they're crashing on you and you don't have much of a choice.
Carter, as this play will be called dead. So it's a false start or an illegal procedure on Mount St. Joe, and they'll be backed up 5 yards. So 1st down and 15 will be the starting down on this drive for the Gaels.
And getting set back last time really ruined their drive. We'll see if it has any impact this time. At the high school level, it's hard to pick up like 1st and 15s, 1st and 20s, 2nd and 30s. It's just so difficult because they're not as accurate quarterbacks, and you have to rely on their arms too much in these scenarios.
Sam James, the wide receiver on the near side, alongside Matthew McDonald. Back to pass is Carter. Carter looking for room, and he's going to run towards the far sideline, and he'll run out of bounds. So a 1st down and 15 turned into about a 2nd down and 5. Good play there on the run.
No, he did a great job there, exploding out of the pocket. He had a lot of speed. He realized he looked at his right side, and no one was there. And so he just kind of took off, and he had a lot of room to run, made sure he was safe, ran out of bounds, and they're hurrying up the guys again, and they're looking like they're going to continue to run this hurry up as they get near the red zone.
9:04 in the second quarter. Here's Carter. On 2nd down and about 8 yards, he'll beam this one, and it's tipped and incomplete. So 3rd down will be the situation for the Gaels. They'll need to convert here inside of Gilman territory, and if you're Mount St. Joe, you have to capitalize here, as you have been given a gift once again, Nathan, for the 2nd consecutive time.
Yeah, well, it's not a do or die because the game's still pretty early.
Absolutely.
But, you do want to capitalize when you're here. If you take advantage of all the Gilman mistakes, you find yourself in a good scenario. They've made mistakes twice, and they're definitely looking to capitalize.
Carter, a fired pass over towards the near side, cutting it back. Touchdown, Mount St. Joe. Matthew McDonald, what a move.
Julian, that was one of the better jukes I've seen in a long time. That was a phenomenal play by him. He did a good job. A slide step again in the rain. He just lost his tracks. And there's the ESPN chant again. Mount St. Joe's getting pretty excited, and now it's a tie game with the chance of taking the lead here. And like I said earlier, if you would have just gone for 2 and got it, you'd have had the lead here no matter, or at least a tie game no matter what. And if you wouldn't have got it, you'd be in the exact same scenario you are now, where they have the lead by a few points.
This is for the lead, And it will be up, and it is good, just past the near upright. Mount St. Joe with the lead, 14-13 here on Greyhound TV, 8:51 to go in the second quarter. And Nathan, if you're the Gilman offense coming onto the field now, the name of the game is hold on to the ball.
Yeah, twice, 2 turnovers right there. That's exactly what you don't want. Because you're giving them easy field position. All Gilman has to do is just punt it away. I guess they tried, and if there's a fumbled snap, you have to execute in that situation. You have to put them back far enough where it's not so easy to convert. They just go in that shotgun, they just dissect you. They're running hurry-ups, and they're just taking advantage of Gilman making mistakes. If you're Gilman, you just don't want to make any mistakes. You need to execute. You need to hold on to the ball.
That you do.
Yeah, especially in these the rainy situation and the scenario where now they're up by 1 and Gilman just kind of gave away their lead.
It makes it more difficult with the rain, but when you're handed a difficult situation, you just need to pay more attention to that facet of the game.
Yeah.
So possession is important, even more important than usual, as this will be kicked down to Brandon Madison, fielded on the far side, looking for room, and he's speeding down his way, looking for a lane, and found one partially, as he'll be taken out of bounds with fairly good field position, just short of the 40-yard line of Gilman.
Not a bad place to start, Julian, and now we'll see Purnell Hill trot back out there. He's led a couple good drives. They've made some progress, but they've scored twice, and what really has happened, they've given their defense, the rough side of the ball here, where they're giving Mount St. Joe their offense like at their side of the 50. So I think the name of the game for Gilman here is move the ball. You obviously want to score, but worst case, you just want to punt it away and pin them back, because Gilman hasn't given off many yards. They've just been capitalizing on short field scenarios.
First down and 10 for the Greyhounds. From their own 38-yard line, 39-yard line. Purnell Hill in the shotgun. He's got a man in motion. That's the senior, Zach Jones. A low snap taken by Purnell Hill, and it'll be dumped off on a screen. Looking for room down the far side is Brandon Madison, but a great tackle there from Mount St. Joe keeps him from breaking it.
It seems like their kryptonite, their Achilles heel, this Mount St. Joe team is just throwing these short passes or these screens or these dump-offs, because they commit so hard after the run, and their linemen are going right after the quarterback. You just throw it right by them. Gilman had success doing that earlier, Julian. I say you keep doing it, because they're not changing their scheme. They're still just trying to kill the quarterback. So just continue to throw the short balls and the little bits, the screens and then the dump-offs, and you'll be able to move the ball.
Purnell Hill, the handoff to Brandon Madison. Madison looking for room, and a flag is out as he's taken down just a yard short of the first down. Waiting for the call as this rambunctious Mount St. Joe crowd is asking for a holding call.
I think they're going to get it.
And they certainly did, Nathan.
Yeah,
you called it.
No, I know what. I didn't really call it. It was kind of a bang-bang kind of play right there, Julian, but that's what I do. No, so when I saw the play happen, and he just kind of grabbed around his shoulder, and that's, it's a textbook hold, and the guy saw it all the way. That's an easy call to make.
So that will back the Greyhounds up here. Interestingly enough, on that play, number 24, Corey Jones checked into the game for the first time today, at least on offense. He's number 24, and he is a sophomore, and he got some playing time.
There you go.
Just a fun little note there.
Yeah.
Didn't really know where I was going with that, but just if his family's watching,
yeah,
he was in the game.
There you go. I'd hope you'd be here to watch him play. I mean,
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe that conflict.
Maybe his grandparents. Yeah, I'm not gonna assume things, Julian. It's tough out there. They might be working on a Saturday. They might be, they could be doing a number of things.
So they make a substitution here on the offensive line for the second down and long play. Second down and about 14 yards.
You know what happens when you assume, Julian?
We all know what happens when we assume,
yeah,
Nathan.
I know. I'm just saying.
It's never a good thing.
Can't make too many assumptions. John, I didn't say anything. What are you looking at me for? John, that was clean as it could be.
7:51 to go in the second quarter. Purnell Hill lined up in the pistol formation with 3 wide receivers on the far side. Moving is Rob Levine to the receiver on the near side. Hill dumps it off. Here's Thomas Booker. Big old Thomas Booker. He's got the first down, and Thomas Booker inside of Mount St. Joe territory as the Roadrunner sound by Nathan, and that's wholeheartedly accurate.
Yeah, no, I was trying to go for the bus right there. Just a big guy running downfield. He had such a head of steam.
I see. I didn't pick that up.
Went for the beep. Yeah, good old the bus right there. Hall of Fame running back for the Steelers. And a great job by Thomas Booker accelerating. Such a big guy coming at you that fast. A little cornerback, you're going to fear for your life, Just a play you don't want to see happen through the defense.
7:24 in the second quarter. Hill rolling out. He's going to lob it, and it is caught on the near side by Brandon Willis. That's a gain of about 8 yards, maybe 7 yards. 3 to go for the first. Second down and 3 coming up here as we near the 7-minute mark in the second quarter. Gilman down by 1 score after back-to-back turnovers for the Hounds. One of them a fumble by Brandon Willis, who just made the reception. And then, of course, the boggled punt by Drew Ehrlich that fell out of his hands, and then he eventually picked it up but couldn't go anywhere with it. So now Gilman trying to get that lead back, and they face a second down and short. Pernell Hill in the shotgun. Takes the snap, and he dumps this one off, and it's a fumble. Getting back to recover. Oh, no, and it falls out of the hands of Pernell Hill. There's a pile for it. Let's see who's got it.
I said Gilman has it. I saw Pernell fall out on it, but, now it's a 3rd and forever, and now you're not in a good scenario. The play was a blown-up play at the beginning. Pernell decided, he was trying to make something out of it, and it just ended up, he ended up shooting himself in the foot there, Julian, as that was almost a devastating play. It could have been picked up and returned for 6. So, Gilman, you're at least happy that it didn't turn out to be a disaster for you.
So 3rd down and very long.
What do you run here,
Greyhounds.
Julian? What's your play call?
4 verts, Nathan.
4 verts? I guess that's you just kind of hope. Throw up a prayer. Hail Mary.
Pernell Hill has got the arm to do it. From the shotgun. Man in motion. And they're going to play it safe and hand it off to Brandon Madison. Madison making a spin, but nowhere to go. He'll be taken down in the backfield.
Hey. See a little bit of feistiness from their team. You don't like to see that. If you're a ref, you break that up right away. You don't want these guys coming after each other.
Getting the infamous punt that ball chant from the crowd. Actually, that's really not so infamous.
I agree with them. I say you punt the ball here.
I think that's a fantastic call to make. I'm glad that they're helping out the Gilman coaches on this play.
Maybe the call's for them. I don't know what else you do. What are you going to go for it on 4th and 30? I don't know. I guess if you're
they're being insightful. They're helping out Russell Wren and Tim Holly, the offensive coordinator and head coach respectively on this Gilman team, and
it's a good punt.
And of course, glad to have that help. As calling for the fair catch inside the 20-yard line is Mount St. Joe, and that's where they'll start their drive.
So Mount St. Joe joined the past 2 possessions. They've put it up for points. Their offense has been running like a well-oiled machine so far, moving the ball, but they've had really good field position, so now's a real test. Can they do it backed up? Can they move the ball all the way for a score right here, right now, with this bad field position? If they do that, I'd say they've been killing it so far, but right now you don't know. You're just they've converted on a short field situation. So right now it's kind of a test for them. We'll see how they do. They have an advantage to take a nice lead here.
Back to pass is Carter. Carter's going to fire this one to the near side, incomplete over the head of Matthew McDonald, who caught the touchdown on the previous drive. Thank you to all 35 of you tuning in right now. You are why we do this, and we're glad to have you along board for what's turning out to be a pretty good game, a close one, Nathan.
Yeah, it's been exciting so far, and we're only at the second half, so tell your friends, get as many people on as you can. It's only going to get more exciting from here.
Second quarter, but we want you to stay for the second half, of course. Absolutely.
Getting my quarters mixed up here, Julian.
As Carter rolling out to the far side, and this will be completed and pushed out of bounds or close to out of bounds. He's actually staying inbounds, so the clock will continue to run. That was number 12, Nate Reese on the reception. That'll be a fresh set of downs for Mount St. Joe.
Been dividing and adding quarters all morning, Julian, so, it just starts all molding together at some point.
The Gaels once again in the shotgun. They've got a 4-wide set as Carter stands there with a back who's now in motion. Carter over the middle, again completed. Once again, it's Nate Reese. And Reese will pick up perhaps 6 yards and maybe a little bit more on the play. That'll be more like 8 or 9.
Dangerous play because it's over the middle of the field, and you have that linebacker looming. He's the rover. He's looking to hit somebody. And he is right there. He can take your head off. So receivers don't like running that route, and quarterbacks have to be very precise if they want to throw it.
Second down and short. Carter looking for an option, rolling out, and this will be completed on the near side, and a first down there. Reception by Matthew McDonald. I think we're learning that Matthew McDonald has a great set of hands for the Gaels.
He's made a number of good catches right there. He's wiping his hands off with a towel. So he's trying to keep him dry in these rainy conditions. He's been a reliable guy, and he's run some good routes so far.
Sam James, the running back, as he's going to step up to the line of scrimmage, leaving Carter alone in the shotgun. Carter under pressure, stepping up, looking to run, and Carter will be taken down around the initial line of scrimmage, so second down and 10 coming up. With 4:08 to go here in the second quarter. Gilman trying to prevent Mount St. Joe from scoring and increasing their rather minuscule lead that they have right now, 14-13. Of course, a big thank you to all of our Greyhound TV staff, but particularly those who are with us today. Lead producer John Ball, always so trustworthy, Cesare Cacanti, as well as Cole Vincent, and of course Rhett Dawson too. Back to pass here, Carter. Carter completes this one to the far side, finding room and trying to bulldoze his way past the defender, but being stopped around the 25-yard line is number 6, Keyshawn Haley. That's just a great play.
Yeah, Mount St. Joe's is moving the ball at will here. They've been passing it with a lot of success. And if you're Mount St. Joe, you just want to keep it up because, they've run some good plays. Guys are getting open over the middle, and they're running some nice, pristine routes right here. It's been easy going.
3:39 to go. The handoff to James, and James going down the middle. Sam James, inside the 10-yard line, or rather just short of the 10-yard line at the 11 for Mount St. Joe, and the Gaels are moving it inside the red zone.
Great calls by their offensive coordinator. They run a deep pass. The last one, they set up in a similar formation, and then they run the draw. And then all the D-backs are going back, the linebackers are going back, and you throw it, and you just run it there for a few gains.
James again. Gilman defense saying no way to a touchdown, but they give up a few yards. Second down and about 5 to go here as Mount St. Joe is nearing the goal line with a 1-point lead and 3:13 to go in the second quarter.
Caught me off guard there with that hurry up. They've been getting to the line really fast.
Piper Bond checks out of the game. He was on defense. And now lining up on the far side for Mount St. Joe is Sam James as a receiver, usually in at running back. Carter immediately runs. Quarterback draw. Touchdown, Mount St. Joe. That's a great read by Carter, but that looked like it was designed, Nathan.
Yeah, no, that was a design QB keep. They've run a couple of those plays where, they haven't run any quarterback keep so far, but the quarterback's been stepping up all game. So right there, they kind of take advantage of the Gilman defense kind of backing up right there, setting up in a zone, expecting a pass, and just running underneath. It's hard because you have to cover the deep ball. You have to honor that deep ball while also honoring the run game. You have to ask a lot out of your 4 down linemen.
The kick is up, and it is good. So the Mount St. Joe Gaels put a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in between themselves and the Gilman Greyhounds with 2:49 to go in the second quarter. And if you're Gilman here, I once again need to stress the name of the game is possession, but now that you've given up another score, the name of the game is also let's try and keep up.
Counting down all the points here. 18, 19. Yeah, a few more. Now they're at 21. All right.
Oh, okay. For a second, I wasn't sure what you were talking about.
I know. I was
off my headphones for a second,
yeah,
and I heard the cheerleaders. They were counting down the points that Mount St. Joe has scored. Nathan, you want to do that for me for Gilman?
I won't be doing that for you. It's not nothing to cheer about right now. But, yeah, no. So 21 is 21. No matter how many slices. 3 touchdowns. 3 times 7. Let's see. 20 plus 1. Any other math?
I didn't come here for math.
You didn't come here for
I
math?
didn't come here for math
That's why
class.
I came here.
Yeah.
Where's Mr. Guline? He can help us out.
Mr. Guline, of course. Mr. Ciotti is always giving us content to use on the air.
Yeah, so he has plenty of content. We both had him math one year. It's a great guy. I love that class.
Last year, during the baseball championship game, we had a moth attack our studio. It was a huge moth.
Yes.
It was a bird-sized moth.
Small bird was the word I used, and I stand by it.
And Mr. Ciotti coined that Mothra.
Yeah. He mentioned a movie that it's past our time, but a good reference there.
So a shout out to him. I'm sure he's tuning in today. He loves our broadcast. As down on the far side, here's Brandon Willis. Willis looking for room, and the ball is lost by Gilman. Falling on it. Let's see who gets it. Still loose.
I think it's out of bounds. No, Mount St. Joe's looks like they're saying they got it.
Waiting for a call here. And it is Gilman ball. Ball. The crowd isn't happy, but we are.
I'm pretty happy. Hey, it trickles out of bounds. That's one of the advantages. The offense loves that out of bounds sign because it's reliable. If all the ball has to do is skimper out of bounds, and it's your ball, so you rely on that. Fumbles on the outside are not as bad as fumbles in the middle, and that ball just kept bouncing, and it just barely got out of bounds there. So Gilman, you thank your lucky stars. You do a couple, 4-leaf clover, whatever you want to call it, getting extremely lucky right there.
So Gilman with the ball, just short of the 50-yard line, inside of their own territory at the 49, lined up in the I. One of the few times today we've seen Pernell Hill not in the shotgun. He's got 2 backs behind him. He's going to keep it. Play action, under pressure. and evading a sack, and he'll get rid of it.
Wow.
Got outside of the tackle box, showing the power. That's a great play by Purnell Hill, even though it broke.
So strong right there. He takes a huge hit by number 44, and he stays up and just is staying up enough to throw it out of bounds. It's a Ben Roethlisberger type of play right there.
It really is.
He got knocked. That was hard right there. That's you expect to go down, especially the quarterback. You got a DN coming by, quarterback hits into him and throws it away. That's fantastic. You love seeing that.
Not only does Purnell Hill have the speed of a running back, but he also has the power of some of the strongest running backs. He really has the ability to just power his way past defenders in a situation like that. As once again, he's going to hand this off actually to the fullback, and he's going to go nowhere. So 3rd down and long for the Greyhounds coming up. As we approach the 2-minute mark here at Mount St. Joe, you can see the goalposts moving because of the wind, I assume. We're not feeling much up here, but maybe it's a little bit more intense outside of the cover.
Well, you are the weather guy, Julian. I'll leave that to you.
I can't give an accurate prediction for what's sitting right in front of me, I guess. Or observation, rather.
Yeah, winds are not your specialty. You're more of a rain, snow kind of guy. Precipitation.
So here we go. 1:54 in the second quarter. Purnell Hill rolling towards the near side, and he gets rid of it, goes out of bounds. A broken play. That's going to lead to a punt.
And if you're Gilman now, you have a situation where you're down by 8 points. They're getting the ball back, and if you're Mount St. Joe, you just kind of want to kneel it out and go into halftime with a nice lead. Don't risk it because they're going to back you up, assuming it's not a fumble snap, but there is a flag down. We'll see what that is.
So awaiting the call on the flag.
Piper Bond doesn't look happy. It's going against Gilman.
Yes, he's having a conversation with the refs, and this is going to be intentional grounding.
Oh, wow.
On the Greyhounds.
Loss of down, I think backs you up 10 yards. Now they're in a better situation to score here.
That really does hurt, as playing a game of field position, that's certainly not what you want, even if you're going to be forced to punt. 4th down and long here. 4th down and about 16 yards, and they're going to keep moving it back. 4th down and over 20 yards to go.
Legal substitution. Now, Julian, we also hope that they punt it here as well. I wonder if the crowd will give us a hint.
They'll once again make the call for us.
I think so. No, of course, when we need them, they don't show up there. But
1:46. And this is a high snap to Drew Ehrlich. Fields it well, even in these slippery conditions, and he gets it off. This will be fielded by number 2, Mount St. Joe. That's Darren Dunn, and he'll be taken down. That was Darren Dunn Moody on the return there.
You know, if that ball would have had about a second more of hang time, he would have gotten his clock cleaned right there. You know, you want to fair catch those balls when you have guys coming right at you because they're coming at you 100 miles per hour, and if you're not ready for them, they'll knock that ball loose, Julian.
Speaking of clock, 1:36 to go here in the second quarter.
Well done, man. You always do such a great job with that.
21 to 13 is your score. Mount St. Joe with the lead and the ball. A 4-wide set for Carter with a back to his right.
No safety on that left side.
Carter with time, stepping up. Gilman's got to get to him. Trying to get him is Thomas Booker, and eventually he will be taken down at just around the line of scrimmage. So 1:25 on the clock here as we've stopped. It's a timeout by Gilman. So maybe Gilman will try and get the ball back here as they have Mount St. Joe pinned back fairly far into their own territory. Of course, if you have an opportunity, be sure to check out greyhoundtv.org, your source for everything Greyhound TV. You can check out our archives page if you are a member of the Gilman community. Use your Gilman email address, either gilman.edu, students.gilman.edu, or alumni.gilman.edu to log in and view all of the games from this season. We'll be glad to have you along board if you spend 10 hours with Nathan and I on our calls. It'd be really fantastic.
It's a lot of time, Julian. I'd get tired of me after a certain point, you know.
Yeah, so would I.
It's like we're rooming with you. It's like we're over your house for a long stretch of time.
But we're glad to have you.
No, we're glad to have you.
We're glad to have you.
I'm just saying, you know, you can only listen to so much of us, Julian. We're in like small portions, right? I think
that's right.
A whole football game, you're like, I'm done with these guys.
1:25 to go. Carter flips this one to Matthew McDonald, and McDonald will be taken out of bounds about 2 yards short. And now we have late hit. You're right, Nathan, as the flags are out here.
It could be a number of things.
I think you're right here.
Yeah.
I thought I saw a little bit of extracurricular activity on the near sideline. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Gaels, as the call was against Gilman. That's really a mistake that you cannot have in a situation like this.
Giving them too many yards, Julian. Giving them free yards, and it just comes back to bite you. And if they score here, Gilman has no one else to blame but themselves. They've given them up about, I think, 20 yards in penalties so far, and you're just giving them to them, and you're making it too easy for them.
1:20 until halftime. The handoff to Sam James, and James being fought down after a gain of about a yard. They'll be spotted at around the 50-yard line, just at the 50-yard line. So Mount St. Joe will be lined up in the only neutral part of the field for second down and about 9 yards. Carter, back to pass, a bullet. This one is tipped and almost intercepted by Brandon Willis, who was in the vicinity.
And that's what I'm saying, Julian, about it being risky. You throw the ball there, what happens, it gets batted, a chance to pick it off, and you pick it off, and you could take it down the sideline for 6. If I'm Mount St. Joe, you only have 50 seconds to get and score a touchdown. They don't seem like they have a field goal kicker that's can kick about anything, unless he can kick extra point. He can't kick anything outside the 30-yard line because they tried to go for a 4th and long down there. So I assume he doesn't have the leg for it. So I think right now the smart play is just to run it out and go into halftime with the lead.
Carter again, lobbing it deep down the near side and well over the head of Matthew McDonald, who had a step.
Now it's 4th down, and we assume they're just going to try out the special teams, or I don't know if that you call that a special teams, try out their special teams and their quarterback. Kind of a weird combo they've been running all game, where they have the quarterback out as their punter. So, we assume they're not going to go for it here, but we don't know. It seems like it's 50-50 with these guys, whether they punt it or kick it, and it doesn't seem to be at all relying on the situation or the yardage.
Certainly unique how they have their quarterback playing as well as their punter, also as their punter.
We saw Tom Brady do that in one game.
I was just about to bring that up. It was a playoff game against Denver.
Yep.
They were blowing out the Broncos, and Tom Brady took the snap on 4th down, and he kicked the ball, and he kicked it pretty well, actually.
Yeah, he did a fine job.
So a little Australian-style kick, rugby-style as well, some people call it that, as this will be fielded and taken down just short of the 20, actually just across the 20, is the Gilman returner with 38 seconds to go here in the first half.
And if you're Gilman now, I'd probably break out and try to throw a couple prayers up there right now towards the end of the game. Might as well bring a bunch of guys out there, a lot of receivers. You hope your blocking holds up. Maybe a screen because they are coming 100 miles per hour. They've been blitzing all game. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, but the offensive coordinator is probably not going to do anything, not going to gamble on any pitch and lateral type of stuff at halftime, especially with the lead still in manageable situation.
For those of you that are Orioles fans as well, the Orioles are just getting underway in New York in the warm-up phase of their game. Huge games this weekend for them as they try and take hold of the top AL wildcard spot, which they have right now. And Brandon Madison finding room down the far side. He'll be taken down as the clock will continue to run. 27 seconds left in the first half.
I think Gilman's going to let it wind.
Yeah, Gilman's not going to show any sense of urgency, as trying to force the ball downfield with 18 seconds left in a half is not exactly the wisest thing to do, especially considering the turnover problems they have had so far.
Looks like that'll bring us into halftime.
The players look to the sidelines. The Gilman sideline begins their exodus to their respective spot on this track, and that will wrap up the half here from Mount St. Joe. So Gilman trails Mount St. Joe 21-13, and Nathan, going into the half, what are the keys for the Greyhounds? One of them is obviously possession, but what else can they potentially do to try and maintain, or rather get this lead back for themselves and try and win this game?
So their offense has been running fine. I have no complaints there. It's all been holding on to the ball, Joey, and with these conditions, we've seen 3 fumbles so far. I would be harping on that. Whatever you need, gloves, rub off the hands, get towels out there, whatever you can, because they've been shooting themselves in the foot and they've been giving them good field position. I think another problem they've had is defense. They need to make some adjustments at halftime because their secondary, they don't seem like they have enough guys to cover all these Mount St. Joe receivers out there. They're bringing out the 5 wide. They need to talk to their defenders about that, kind of find out what's going on, because there's some breakdown at the line of scrimmage, there's some breakdown in the secondary, and it's been tough holding these guys. They've been breaking off big runs, and they've been moving the ball at will, basically. They've moved it from the 20 all the way down to the end zone. So the biggest problems I'm having with this Gilman team so far has been possession, and it's been defense.
Absolutely, and one of the shining stars of the first half has been quarterback Pernell Hill for Gilman. He's been elusive, he's been powerful, and he's shown that he can move the ball through the air. That's certainly been a nice change of pace versus what happened last week at Malvern Prep. How big is that going to be half, and do you think they'll rely on him more rather than maybe hand the ball off more to Brandon Madison?
I don't think you kind of need to force the ball over the air right now because the situation is still unmanageable. I'd run the ball a little bit. I just keep your offensive game plan. I think it's working. You just want to tell the guys to hold on to the ball and be mindful of that. Go down if you think it's going to be risky. Make sure you cover with 2 hands if you're going into a big hit. So stuff like that. I don't think they switch anything up, but they're going to rely on him because he's their quarterback and he's their field general. So they're going to need him to make some big plays.
So we'll step away for a few moments here on Greyhound TV. I'm Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein for our fantastic crew. We'll be back for the start of the second half in just a few moments. Stay tuned, everybody. And welcome back to Mount St. Joe High School here in Baltimore, Maryland for the start of the second half of this game. It's been a wild one so far as the Gaels lead it 21-13 and Gilman's trying to come back and win it. And they showed dominance on the offensive side of the ball in the beginning of this game. Can they continue it, Nathan?
Well, Julian, it doesn't look like there's any sign that would indicate they're going to slow down. They're going to come out there in the shotgun as they've been doing all game. They're going to set up. They're going to throw a couple balls deep, first, second down. They're going to get a couple first downs. And then they'll have a situation where it'll be a 1st and 10 or a 2nd and 5. They'll run a draw, the draw, break free. That's all they've been doing, and it's been working for them. So I can just stick with what's been working and just keep doing the same.
So we're headed back out to the field here on Greyhound TV as getting set to kick this ball off is the Gilman kicking unit as we receive the ball to start the game. Adero Mandala, the kicker, fields this ball that was kicked over to him by the coach.
That's the reason why they call him the kicker, Julian.
He's not the returner.
He's not the catcher either. He's the kicker. Yeah, Rhett Dawson liked that one.
Our very own Rhett Dawson laughing at that joke. Thought it was hilarious. Still laughing.
Oh, trying an onside.
Oh, onside kick.
They got it. They got it. Wow.
Shades of Sean Payton here at Mount St.
I know. What a play. Oh, they caught him off guard. They caught me off guard, Julian.
You want to talk about taking a risk that nobody saw coming. This Mount St. Joe crowd is absolutely stunned.
That was a fantastic play call, and they came up. I don't know, whoever was responsible for that in the special teams, that was all Sean Payton right there.
Sean Payton. I think Gilman's hired Sean Payton.
They might have hired Sean Payton. He's not doing that great of a job in New Orleans anymore, so he might be out there. But, fantastic job by the special teams unit.
What a fantastic call. I mean, if it didn't work, I don't think we'd be calling it fantastic. But what a fantastic call,
honestly,
Nathan.
Even if it didn't work, they had so many guys charging at the ball, and it was such. And Darren Mandata, what a beautiful place by him.
So under center, 1st down and 10 in the I formation, Pernell Hill. He's going to keep it. He's going to roll. A pass to the far side, a diving catch, and he is out of bounds. It looked like he was out of bounds on the diving reception, potential reception. Let's wait for the call here. Yes, an incompletion there as Pernell Hill threw that ball just a little bit wide of the target. A receiver coming back towards the sideline. 2nd down and 10 here for the Greyhounds. What a fantastic recovery there, Nathan. I know I'm digressing a little bit.
We've come out of the gates so strong and so far, and I love that play call. And if this was an NFL game, you'd go to the booth and they might have returned that. That might have been a catch.
Brandon Willis, the receiver on the near side, 2nd down and 10 for Gilman. The snap, the handoff to Brandon Madison. Madison has a defender fall off him, and there's a flag down. Brandon Madison's taken down at around the 40-yard line or just across it to the 35. But he's got his hands up because there's a flag down. The crowd asking for holding, and it is against Gilman. It's a holding penalty.
Yep.
They'll maintain the down, but 2nd down and 20 will be the situation. So the Mount St. Joe crowd is boisterously chanting, "Take it back," and that's exactly what they're doing.
I thought it was the choir for a second, Julian. They look like they organize stuff. This might be planned. I don't know. They have meetings, I assume, every weekend. They get ready for this game. It comes out so naturally. I don't know. It just seems like they know what they're doing out there.
Certainly a choir of voices not to be ignored here in the stands. With 11:43 to go in the 3rd quarter, Piper Bond, the junior, the receiver on the near side. Now he's moving. He's got his hands up. Not really sure what's going on as he moves over to the right of Zach Jones, who's in the slot. Pernell Hill on 2nd down and 20. Under pressure, gets it off, and this one is caught by Brandon Madison. And Madison, still on his feet is Madison, and he turned absolutely nothing into just maintaining the down.
He didn't go anywhere, Julian, but it was such a great effort, though. You got to acknowledge that. Shifted off a couple tackles, and he's elusive, and again, in these conditions, you'll see guys just bounce off.
So he didn't turn nothing into something, but rather he turned worse than nothing into nothing.
Yeah.
I think is a better way to put it. Rhett Dawson continuing to give us the seal of approval with that odd grin that he keeps looking at us with.
I think we acknowledge him way too much. Just let him be, Julian.
We do.
Just
Leave
him alone. Poor kid.
He's great. Pernell Hill looking for an option. He's going to go deep down the far side, incomplete over the head of Brandon Madison.
That was an incompletion, Joey, but that was also a blown assignment by the Mount St. Joe guy. He let him go. The running back, or I think that might have been the receiving back, kind of just slipped out there, and that could have been a huge gain had Pernell collected with him.
So 4th down and long, and Gilman will punt the ball. Drew Ehrlich on to punt.
And that's really unfortunate, Julian, because they came out of the gate so strong with that onside, and all the fire that they had built up there just got cooled off, and now they're going to be punting it away.
Certainly a momentum shifter, even if they weren't able to immediately capitalize. This one a high punt that'll take a Mount St. Joe bounce.
And decent field position.
So coming back onto the field is the Mount St. Joe offense led by number 1 Christian Carter, who certainly put on a show in the first half, showing this crowd that not only can he throw the ball pretty accurately, but he also can do it with his legs, and that's valuable as we have a flag down. Flag around the 50-yard line, in between the 50 and the 45.
That's going to be against Mount St. Joe on the kick return, and that'll be backing them up into more favorable field position.
For Gilman.
Yes.
So Mount St. Joe will maintain possession, but they will lose yardage and be backed up further into their own territory, thanks to the holding call.
So special teams works in both ways, where at first when they receive the ball and they go out to punt, that offense, the team that is then the offense, can be called for holding. But once they recover it, Mount St. Joe getting the ball back, they then become the offense, and then they can, of course, get a hold on there, and that's what we saw there. So it's confusing. And then for some reason they're putting they're marking it off. I thought they were putting Gilman back. I was like, gonna repunt it? I don't know. It's
so once again, for those of you following the Orioles playoff race, they have a 2-0 lead thanks to a 2 RBI single by Michael Bourne.
They're making them repunt it, Joey, and they moved it up about 10 yards and they're repunting it again. That's interesting. I guess it must have been holding before the punt got off, or I don't know what exactly that call would be, but
interesting here as Drew Ehrlich gets set to punt this ball once again with 10:47 to go in the third quarter. Gilman down 21-13. Another high punt.
This one's good.
It's going back towards the 20-yard line. Another Mount St. Joe bounce, but it's downed by Gilman by Alex Slodzinski around the 20-yard line. So Mount St. Joe will start this drive from inside their own territory after not getting the ball to start the half. That was because of the onside kick by Gilman.
And it looks like that hold brought them back maybe around 15 yards. They had a potential, I think, around the 40 or something like that. Now they're back at the 20. So that hurts right there because that makes it a lot more difficult. You have to pick up like 2 more first downs to get a touchdown. You're not looking to do that, but they certainly look like they've been able to pick up almost anything here, Julian.
Carter under pressure from Antonio DeCervo. He gets the ball off, and it's completed. Running over a Gilman defender. Staying on his feet, number 10, Gary Aggers. The run after the catch, and a Mount St. Joe first down as they approach the 40-yard line.
Great strength right there. That was a Calvin Johnson type of run. He throws his stiff arm, breaks a couple tackles. He's big, he's physical, and he's hard to bring down. And so we've seen a similar play get run before, and now they're in the hurry up. They're trying to take advantage of Gilman.
The handoff to James. James up the middle, trying to find room as he stumbles forward for a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. Sam James, really a bull of a runner. He's done a fantastic job here today of just pushing forward against Gilman defenders, and a great job there of diving forward to gain those few extra yards that could be crucial down the road. And Carter, a lob pass to the near side and completed, and a first down and more going down the near side. It's a touchdown for the Gaels. Keyshawn Haley. And what a breakdown of the Gilman secondary.
Yeah, it didn't look like much initially, but he just broke free right there. There was a good block that sealed him, and then he just outran the cornerback, got the edge, and that's a textbook touchdown right there.
27-13 is the score. The Gaels leading with 9:57 to go. Gilman now, their plan has somewhat backfired here as they did the onside kick. They recovered it. They had the ball, and all of a sudden, Mount St. Joe has scored.
Can't blame any of that on the coaching staff. That's just not able to execute right there. They did a good job catching the momentum, and it just didn't end up helping there, Julian. And now they have the Herculean task of trying to come back in this game down 2 scores. There's certainly enough time, but you need that offense to kick it into second gear and really start putting up some points.
Gilman has not scored a point since the first quarter, looking to remedy that situation with their next drive. As they're down by multiple scores, 28-13 is your score here from Mount St. Joe High School. The rain has subsided, and let's hope the woes for Gilman have also subsided as they're congregating on the sideline talking about the drive.
Yeah, so Jordan, if you haven't noticed, it's been 28 unanswered. Gilman put up the first 2 touchdowns.
That's true.
And it's been all Mount St. Joe after that, and so they've just taken over this game. And they're almost putting it out of reach with a 2-touchdown lead. Gilman has to really start playing well.
Glad to have all 42 of you tuning in right now on Greyhound TV. I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein, hopefully ready to bring you a Gilman comeback. And this is a squib kick. Down past the Gilman defenders, looking to field it, and they do. Brandon Madison, the sure hands of Brandon Madison.
Good return by Gilman there, and that was a dangerous play because Mount St. Joe could recover that and take possession of the ball. So good job with that squib. They tried to get themselves in a fantastic field position. They recover it, and I think the main thing was just trying to kick it away from the dangerous returner. But Gilman, it's not worst case scenario. They had the ball in some rather decent field position at the around the 30. That's kind of where you want to start a drive, and so it's all going to be on the shoulders of Purnell Hughes. You got to run this team into a position where they can score and get themselves back into this game. And you look to the offensive coordinator, you look to the quarterback, and they need to execute here.
Purnell Hill under center. The back behind him is the junior Brandon Madison. Takes the snap, keeps it, looking for room to get away from the pressure, but he cannot as he's sacked in the backfield. And this has not been a good start for Gilman so far to the second half. Second down and long coming up for Purnell and the Gilman offense.
And that Mount St. Joe crowd likes it.
As they are so surely exclaiming here right near our makeshift booth.
I can't say why they wouldn't like it, Julian.
Yeah, they're having a good series right now of 28 unanswered points.
Nothing not to like.
Rather, 21 unanswered points, my bad. Purnell Hill takes the snap, looking for an option, and he will try to dump this one off, but incomplete, intended for Brandon Willis. So third down and long coming up for the Greyhounds, and this is not looking so great unless they can pull a big play. I say, Nathan, go to some of your top targets, some of your big guys, like maybe Thomas Booker.
Yeah, you don't want to abuse him all the time. He's their biggest guy, but he certainly isn't the guy you're going to line up outside. But maybe trying to go with a play, him lining up in the tight end position, cutting over the middle. I'm not going to try to draw plays in the sand here. We'll see what they do, but they're definitely going to be taking some shots here.
Purnell Hill, flanked by running backs on third down and long. He's going to roll out. Needs to find an option, and he does over the middle. And it is intercepted by Mount St. Joe. The Gaels could not have a better start to the second half.
Maybe they would have recovered the onside kick. That's about it. That's about the only thing that's gone in Gilman's favor so far. And now Gilman has to stop them and score twice. And they have 2 quarters to do that. Plenty of time, Julian. It's not time to get worried. Just go out there and execute the game plan.
Christian Carter lined up in the pistol formation. The man in motion is number 20, Marlo Wax. Back to pass Carter, going deep to the end zone, over the head of the intended receiver, incomplete. Looking for number 14, Matthew McDonald there, who was a surefire target in the first half.
I like the idea that they're going to go and try to take the top off Gilman right away and make them respect the deep ball. But you're up by 2 scores and you have the ball in good field position. Why take a shot right now? Just start running the ball, chew on that clock. The clock's your friend. Just pick up a couple first downs and see if you can kick a short field goal or maybe put yourself in an easier position to score, but you don't need to take that kind of shot. You're not in a desperate situation.
8:52 here. 8:58 rather. Checking into the game for Mount St. Joe, or rather just coming back onto the field as he was in the previous plays, number 14, Matthew McDonald.
And looks like they found someone else to play football for him. I guess he kind of came out of nowhere. But he's on the field now, Julian. He's ready to number 14. Just entered. Let me see who that is. Give me a sec.
Matthew McDonald.
Matthew McDonald. Has he played so far?
Oh, he's been playing a lot, Nathan.
Oh, where do you have to go to the bathroom, maybe?
Well, what was that?
Did he have to go to the bathroom? I don't know. Where was he?
I'm not sure.
Someone said he had to take an Uber.
We don't know what's going on here as Mount St. Joe's making a lot of weird substitutions. And now it's second down and 10. Not sure what that series of events was about. Matthew McDonald had to come off the field for a moment. But he's back in on the far side. The handoff up the middle to Sam James. James spinning and diving forward. A great push there from James. And James picks up about half the yardage he needs to get his team a first down.
And a good second effort by him, too. Dive and pick up as many yards as you can. That's the name of the game. Mount St. Joe's is going to be looking to grind this ball out. And the clock is your friend, as I've said. Just kind of watch the minutes tick away and You don't have to take any risk. You don't have to take any shots. Just throw it underneath and run the ball.
3rd down and 6 for Carter. Under pressure. Carter almost taken down, and he will be taken down behind the line of scrimmage. So that will be a 4th down situation for the Gaels, and Gilman will hopefully be able to get the ball back here without relinquishing any more points.
Yeah, and if you're Mount St. Joe, I say you just punt it into the corner and try to pin them back inside the 5. I think that's all you're looking to do here if you're the special teams unit. You don't need these points. But Julian, it looks like they're going for it, and I shouldn't make assumptions, as I said earlier.
Carter alone in the shotgun. Number 6, Keyshawn Haley, the receiver on the near side. Carter going deep. Carter over the head of Keyshawn Haley, incomplete. Just a little bit too high for his receiver, the junior, and it will be a turnover on downs. Gilman will get the ball back, down by a few scores. I think they've got an opportunity here to drive down and show they've got what it takes on offense.
Yeah, I kind of want to knock that call right there because they got a great call. You don't have to take a risk. Why are you throwing it deep? I mean, the best case scenario is he scores and you look like a genius. But now they have the ball in good field position. Play it safe. Just punt it, pin them back, make them earn the yardage. They need 2 touchdowns. You don't want to make it any easier for them, and you certainly don't need those points. While they would be nice, it's such a big risk trying to throw it deep on a 4th down. It's just not worth it.
Carter was very close to being able to get that ball in the hands of his receiver, Keyshawn Haley, but just a little bit too high close to the end zone there. But if he had put it a little bit more on the mark, that perhaps could have been a touchdown.
And I wouldn't have said anything about it, Joey, and I wouldn't be complaining. I'd be like, oh, that's a great call.
That's right.
Called him off guard.
That's right. We have to go with what we're given.
Yeah.
And what we were given there was an incompletion.
Yep.
But if we got a completion and a score, we would be raving about the great call.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. That's all. The Sean Payton onside kick. He's a genius for doing it unless he doesn't recover it, in which case he's an idiot.
It's true. It's true. So Brandon Willis, the receiver on the near side, is the Mount St. Joe cheerleading squad trying to rile up the crowd. But I'd say they're already sufficiently riled up as they've been rowdy all day.
They're not even leading the cheers out there. You have the fans over here leading the cheers. I mean, they're kind of like extra cheers. I don't know. They have this whole – there's not many people, but they're making a lot of noise.
Pernell Hill, play action, and then he hands it off to Brandon Madison. And the ball is temporarily loose, but that's after the play is dead. So Brandon Madison will lose about a yard on the run. 2nd down and long coming up, and Pernell Hill may be taking to the air here, Nathan.
Yeah, you certainly could be taking to the air here. I'd probably try something in the short game. You don't want to have to go over the top, but, I assume the short game hasn't worked well for them. You don't know. You're going to see what the offense coordinator is going to call. I assume it's going to be a pass, but you never know, Julian.
Pernell Hill flanked by backs in the shotgun. And he's going to hand this ball off, looking for room, getting around the edge, but not able to find room is number 11, Mason Freeman. 7:10 to go in the 3rd quarter, and Gilman faces another 3rd down and long situation. The Mount St. Joe crowd ecstatic about the way their team has played here so far in the 2nd half, and their defense giving them a reason to cheer here.
Thomas Booker lined up on the left side of that offensive line in an obvious passing situation. Julian, you're going to be looking to see what he's doing.
Hill is going to go over the middle, and this is
got it.
caught, brought in by
still
Brandon
going.
Madison, and Madison will be taken down just across the 50-yard line. Brandon Madison brought that ball in. He was being closely covered, but he didn't care as he gives Gilman a 1st down, and they move the chains here.
Julian, I swear I thought he was going to break that. He slipped out of that tackle and just got kind of tripped up there. What a great play by him. A beautiful catch on the run, and he almost broke that for a touchdown. That's exactly what Gilman needed. They move the ball, and now it's a 1st down, and they're in good field position, Julian. The comeback is certainly within grasp, and they're trying to test this defense.
For a second, I thought that was Thomas Booker just because of how great he was with his hands on that play to go get that ball, but rather it was a running back. So Brandon Madison showing that he's just as influential in the running game as he is the passing game. These Gilman offensive players, they're certainly dynamic, and we just saw an example of that. Pernell Hill under center with the back behind him. Looking to hand it off, but he doesn't. It's a play-action pass. Pernell Hill is taken down, and that's an incompletion. That will not be intentional grounding. 2nd down and 10 coming up.
I got to say, Julian, they've been blitzing all game, and, I think the short pass game would be looking really good right now just because they've been over-pursuing. Just trying to dump it off. They don't have enough guys out there to cover because they're blitzing so many. You got outside linebackers coming. Either the tackles aren't picking up their blocks or they're sending too many, and that means you can throw it underneath.
So they line up on the near hash mark. Ready to run their 2nd down and 10 play. Purnell Hill with the back to his right, 4 wideouts. Hill stepping up. Hill looking for an option. He's going to tuck and run, and he will gain about 4 yards on the play.
It's a good run by him, Julian, and as a quarterback, he's going to be running upright, so he's not going to be getting down that usual running back kind of run where he's got the ball tucked in one arm, using an arm as a stiff arm. He has to come out of his throwing motion into a running stance. So quarterbacks always they run different from running backs. They're more up front. They're a lot more level. The running backs are kind of forced to the ground, and that difference in running style it makes them so shifty at the quarterback position.
And now, Nathan, I know that we're not in an extremely urgent situation, but inside of Gale territory, are we talking 4th down territory?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to call. You have to go for it in this situation.
Rob Levine to the right of Purnell Hill. Takes the snap, looking to roll. A shovel pass. This one is completed, but taken down in the backfield is Brandon Madison. So it's 4th down as they lose yards on the play. They'll back it up to about a 4th down and 9 situation.
4th and 9, Jules, and they're definitely going to be going for it here.
Looking to the sideline for the call as Rob Levine checks out, and coming in is Brandon Willis alongside the junior Piper Bond. Also checking into the game is, of course, number 34. He's not on our roster. Once again, we talked about him earlier.
I think he's a JV player that moved up.
I formation on 4th down and 9. Purnell Hill, he's going to roll under pressure. Purnell Hill, he's going to throw it deep, and this is out of
pass
the reach.
Interference!
That is a flag as, let's see what the call is.
They're going to call him for pass interference here, Julian. I'm certain of it.
That ball looked close enough to the receiver for that to be pass interference as the tackle was early. Waiting for the call.
He's a big guy, but you can't shove him like that.
That's pass interference on Mount St. Joe, and Gilman's going to keep the drive alive here. A fresh set of downs thanks to the penalty by the Gaels.
And that's just, as a cornerback, that is the one thing you don't want to do. It's 4th down, Julian, and you don't have to cover him that tightly. But that was clear and obvious passing interference right there. He was right in his face. You can't tackle a guy while he's going out there running. And, good call by the refs. They saw it.
And you got to hand it to Purnell Hill. He was under pressure there from number 8, Ben Morgan of the Gaels. He was able to get that ball off and give his receiver not only an opportunity to catch that ball, but an opportunity to draw the penalty.
Yeah. Great job by him. Great call. You love it. He threw it up there, and it worked out for the best.
Low snap, handoff to Brandon Willis. And
he's still on his feet!
Willis gets away from it, going around the other way. Brandon Willis looking for blocks. Brandon Willis down the far side. He's tackled hard, but he turned what could have potentially been a huge loss into a sizable gain.
Julian, that was a great job by the Mount St. Joe defenders. They pursued, and they hit the outside there. A great job by Willis staying on his feet, and he gets a couple yards. He turned a disaster into a decent game.
2nd down and 6. Purnell Hill looking to the sideline with Rob Levine in the game as a running back. Number 24, Corey Jones, is also in. He's the receiver on the near side as we have a timeout called by the Greyhounds. What a great play there from Brandon Willis.
I think the Gilman offense has been doing a terrific job so far moving the ball. They've had a lot of success. Good job with it. They're taking a risk on 4th down and an obvious pass interference call right there as they kind of knocked them into a... I'm having some disagreement right now. I'm just trying to announce the game. All right. It certainly looked like a pass interference call from this angle. While it is debatable, it certainly looked that way because he tackled him. And as a receiver, as a quarterback, you can't tackle a receiver.
We're getting some...
I'm just going to...
If you're not able to hear that on our microphone, we're getting some comments from the Mount St. Joe crowd. Obviously, they are prone to disagree with us, and that is that. We're just going to have to agree to disagree.
I can't win that argument, Julian. I can't hear them well. I'm trying to make a point. It definitely looked like it. It definitely looked like it.
So, 2nd down and 6. After that rather... unconventional occurrence, I'll call it. Pistol formation for Purnell Hill. Behind him is Brandon Madison. He's going to lose the ball. And Mount St. Joe falls on it.
And a good job by Mount St. Joe. They over-pursued there. They got the fumble. That's just a fantastic job. Gilman just can't hold on to the ball right there. The slipping right out. A defense playing really well, you just like that. You like the fact that they pursue and like they hit them hard. A good job by them, but a bad job by Gilman. You can't fumble the ball in that situation because that's going to give up and give them the ball back.
Mount St. Joe, they've got the ball around the 35-yard line, their own 35-yard line. The receiver on the near side for them is number 6, Haley, and they'll throw over the middle, and this one just over the head of the intended receiver, number 10, Gary Aggers. 2nd down and 10 coming up here for the Gaels. That really is a huge mistake from Gilman.
Yeah, you know, they've not been able to carry the ball this entire time. That's their 4th fumble of the game. Gilman just unable to hold on to the ball in this situation, and that's going to kill him. It's a drive killer, Julian, and it's giving Mount St. Joe a great field position here.
Carter rolling out immediately, looking for an option, and this will be well short of his intended receiver, number 6, Keyshawn Haley. So 3rd down and long coming up here, and this defense, this Gilman defense, needs to make a stand against the Gaels.
And, you know, Julian's coming to the point where it's almost now or never. The 3rd quarter's ticking away. Mount St. Joe has a 2-touchdown lead, and you definitely need to convert from the defensive side now, thinking about scoring from the defensive side. Also, you need to stop them and get the ball back.
Carter on 3rd down and 10. Towards the far side, it's completed, looking for room, but he will be taken out of bounds short of the 1st down marker. So if you are the Gaels here, you're in your own territory, but you're close to the 50-yard line. Do you go for it? I say you do.
Yeah, Jules, it's to the point where it's not enough where they're going to get the ball in good field position no matter what. It seems like I can't knock a 4th and 2 going for it here, but, you know, it looks like they're coming out to punt. But then again, this would be the situation when I think you would go for it on 4th and 2.
So there's a flag out here, hopefully not against Gilman. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute. They announced encroachment against Gilman.
It's
against Mount St.
That's a
Joe.
false start. Hey, you know.
Yeah, that was not the call. The referee was clearly pointing that it was against Mount St. Joe, but the announcer said it was against Gilman. Maybe a little bit of bias here, but it will be against the Gaels as it'll be 4th down and 7.
Hey, try what you can.
Certainly sensing some, I don't even know what to call it, some interesting energy here at Mount St. Joe, the likes of which we've never experienced. The punt by Carter.
Good crowd.
It's a line drive punt. Headed back down towards Piper Bond on the far side. Piper Bond finding room as he tiptoes his way out of bounds across the 40-yard line.
And now, Julian, looks like the Gilman offense is going to get the ball back. And, you know, in this situation, it does seem like it's a do or die. You know, you've seen teams that can put up multiple scores in the 4th quarter, but right now you definitely need to move into field position, at least try to get a field goal out of this situation. You need to put points on the board. Time is becoming very valuable, and it's hard as the game gets farther into the game. The defense is going to want that just a little bit more. The offense needs to certainly put the ball in a position to score here, Julian.
So Gilman with the ball around the 40-yard line. Piper Bond, the receiver on the near side. In the slot, it's Zach Jones. Behind Hill, it's Brandon Madison. Who else? Booker in motion. And here's the handoff. And taken down. That actually wasn't Brandon Madison. That was Rob Levine. I get what I deserve for saying who else, as that'll be a loss of yardage. 2nd down and about 15 to go.
Well, it seems like it's been Brandon Madison all day, but Rob Levine's, as you know, Julian, also a fantastic runner for this Gilman Greyhound rushing offense. It's a bit of a two-headed monster, though you typically see Brandon Madison. But Gilman, you know, just trying to get the ball moving, and Mount St. Joe's been sturdy up front all game. They haven't had much success running it up the middle. I would look to probably try to pass in this situation. The short pass game has been open. We'll see what the offense does.
2nd down and long for Gilman. Brandon Willis, the receiver on the near side, as Purnell Hill stands upright for a moment and now takes the snap. Looking for an option under pressure once again from Ben Morgan. Lets it go, and it is incomplete. Tipped around the vicinity of the receiver by number 44, Justin Looney. Yes, number 44, Justin Looney. The crowd is ecstatic.
It was a good play by him. He did a good job being close enough to contest that. If he wasn't there, if he had slipped up a little bit, that would have been Gilman making a great play and Purnell making something out of nothing, as he so often does, Julian. They've been doing that all game. And the 3rd and long, you know, they tried passing it deep. They got the passing interference. I say you do the exact same thing.
There we go. 3rd down and 15. Man in motion. Now
That looks like an illegal motion.
Yeah, it was an illegal motion on Gilman. This time it was actually against Gilman.
Yep.
3rd down and 20 will be the situation for the Greyhounds, as we take a moment to remind you that you can follow Greyhound TV at Greyhound_TV. That's at Greyhound_TV on Twitter for all things Greyhound TV. Same play, men in motion. Brandon Madison moving over towards the far side. Snap.
He's got some room to work with.
Pernell Hill lets it go, and it is incomplete over the heads of both Piper Bond and Thomas Booker. And Gilman will face a 4th down and 20, and you're going to punt it here, I would assume.
Yeah, you don't want to try to throw it. In this situation, they got the call last time. You don't get lucky that often, though it was a pass interference call. I will say under my breath. So, you want to punt it back, force them to drive the length of the field. They've had little problems doing that so far. Mount St. Joe has moved the ball very well, but, you obviously have to play the field position battle. Even with the game this tight, you don't expect to pick up a 4th and forever.
There's a flag out here.
It's going against Gilman.
And Drew Ehrlich puts his hands up as to say, what did I do? We don't know if it was against him or not, but certainly some confusion from the Gilman side about what exactly that call pertained to. So Gilman will be backed up to a 4th down and 25.
Yeah.
It's about as long as it really gets for being backed up on a 4th down.
Could be 4th and 30.
Could be 4th and 35.
Yeah, that's definitely as funny as it could be.
Drew Ehrlich
This
once
is
again
a,
back to punt.
PUNT punting situation here.
Another high punt from Ehrlich, going past the 50, and another Mount
bounce.
St. Joe bounce. Fielded well there.
I don't know.
Midfield.
I think it's the way that Drew Ehrlich's punting it. It seems like it always ends up bouncing against Gilman's favor. Either the wind takes it. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, it always seems to bounce back, and Gilman has to rush to knock it down.
Or perhaps the field is rigged.
Oh, we can always assume that. Could be honestly, it could be the way it bounces off turf versus the way it bounces off grass. You don't know. It's just it's something that at that level you're getting to expertise punting right there. How the ball's going to land after you kick it.
Sometimes the field can affect gameplay. Early in the 1900s, the Orioles put wooden plates under the area in front of home plate so that small ground balls, the ones that would chop, would stick around longer. They wouldn't take as high bounces, so it couldn't be fielded as easily, and hence the name Baltimore Chop. So the field could be rigged.
The more you know, Julian. The more you know. Yeah, the Baltimore Chop before the Orioles came in town, or they were the original Orioles.
That they were, as this one by Carter is fired to the near side, completed there. Great catch as he's pushed out of bounds. 1st down, Gaels.
That's a really precise pass right there. You don't see that much at the high school level because it's hard to do. Good job. They're really using that sideline to their advantage, and they have so many good receivers on this team, Julian, and they're just using them.
And Nate Reese does a great job of hanging on to that ball as he was being pushed out of bounds hard. Carter, low snap, rolling, throwing, and this one is completed.
Another good catch.
Diving catch there from number 6, Keyshawn Haley. He's close to a 1st down. About a yard short. 2nd down and 1 coming up with 1:48 to go in the 3rd quarter. Glad to have you along board for what hopefully will be a Gilman comeback. Let's see what happens on Greyhound TV. Carter, line up with the shotgun.
And
he got a man to move, and that'll be an automatic 1st down.
Gilman has not been disciplined on the defensive side of the ball, on the offensive side of the ball. They've been penalized multiple times, and it's been killing them. The fumbles and the penalties, Julian, they haven't been playing that badly, but it's just been the small mistakes that have added up here.
That was number 56, Jake Brummett, who flinched on the play. And Carter alone in the shotgun once again. Throws completed on the near side to Gary Agers. That's a gain of about 5 yards. With 1:17 to go in the 3rd quarter, Gilman needs to do something to slow down this Gaels offense as they're approaching the final quarter of play, and they haven't had an answer so far in the 2nd half. And now we have a throw, and it's completed over to number 6, Keyshawn Haley. Touchdown, Gaels.
That was a fantastic play by number 6 again. Haley, he put the juke on both of them, Julian, and had them both slipping. That guy has been nothing short of fantastic this game. He's their number 1, and I think it might be coming back.
Let's see what the call is.
Yeah, it looks like they had a legal man downfield, Julian.
So they will negate the touchdown on the illegal receiver downfield.
And that's extremely unfortunate because that was a fantastic play by number 6. And, you just hate to see that. I don't know, was he the illegal guy downfield? If not...
I don't believe so. He was split out wide on the play, but it must have been somebody else that was moving downfield, as so often is on these sorts of calls.
That's just such a bad head mistake because that just negates a touchdown.
Carter, 2nd down at 11. He'll throw over to the near side, completed once again to Haley, and Haley will be taken down after what looks to be a first down reception.
Yeah, the cornerbacks have not been sticking with these guys. They've been abusing them all game and getting open fairly easily. And, you know, from the Gilman side of the ball, you just need to play these guys up front tougher. I'd consider pressing them. Whatever you can do just to force them to not throw it so short and try to take chances and hopefully get picks there.
So this is a first down for the Gaels, as pulling it in for the reception was Haley, and he picks up a fresh set of downs for Mount St. Joe. As the crowd ecstatically screams, "Move those chains."
They've been doing that all game, Julian.
Carter hands off to James. James with room up the middle. Sam James spinning forward, and he's close to the 10-yard line. Close to the goal line, rather. There were two refs making motions there. Looks like he's just across the 5. Low snap. Handoff James. And James, he is in for the touchdown, and Mount St. Joe takes a 34-13 lead.
And now, Julian, you're in a situation where the time is too little to actually run your normal offense. You have to running a hurry up or split out guys wide, spike the ball. Now you're in a difficult situation. And, you know, Julian, after the first quarter, it's been all Mount St. Joe, and they keep just piling on the points. Gilman defense giving up way too many scores here.
On to kick the extra point with 31 seconds in the third quarter. And now it's
got blocked.
So tipped by Gilman. The score remains 34-13.
And that actually might turn out to be more valuable than you consider, because Gilman, as you know, went for 2 and didn't get it, and now they didn't go for 2, so it negates Gilman having to go for 2 to take the lead, or to tie it.
That is correct. So Gilman, I guess that's one
hey,
right.
I mean, like, if you're thinking all the way down, like, towards the end, if we assume Gilman comes back from this, that could actually end up being a huge factor.
So now Gilman charged with the burden of having to come back from a 34-13 deficit. Can they do it? Find out right here on Greyhound TV over the next 12 minutes. Or 12 minutes of game time, rather. Will likely be longer than that, and let's hope it is, as Gilman's got work to do. The Gilman return team coming out on the field. Glad to have all of you tuning in. You guys, you the viewers, you make this possible. And we really appreciate it. On this dreary Saturday afternoon, we're happy to make it so that you don't have to come out here and sit in these terrible conditions, and you can stay home comfortable and watch the game live on Greyhound TV, almost fielded by Brandon Madison, but there's a flag out as the kick obviously is not allowed to go out of bounds.
I think the fans noticed it. They just didn't notice that they kicked the ball out of bounds. Gilman now will have good field position. So, you know, you got that going for us, right? You got something? I don't know, I'm trying to find something here, Julian. We haven't been able to move the ball, but ever since the first quarter, but the offense has been actually playing pretty well. It's just been miscues, fumbles, penalties. They've moved us back. We've given over possessions. That's been the name of the game, Julian. Mount St. Joe hasn't fumbled the ball, and we have, and it's been going their way ever since.
So
Rhett Dawson
31.
Getting confrontational because I know, Rhett, I know.
31 seconds to go in the third quarter. Hill to the right of him is his back, and under pressure is Pernell Hill, and he'll be sacked again. Seems like there's just been an endless stream of pressure from the Mount St. Joe defensive line during the second half.
Absolutely no blocking, and seems to be heard from. They've been crashing every play. I think they're blitzing more than 5 guys, so they're putting like a 46 bear kind of blitz on them, and it's been tough. Gilman just can't simply hold up enough pressure to, you know, keep moving the ball down the field. It's been tough for them. They have to trying something different here.
So that will be the end of the third quarter here from Mount St. Joe. A fresh 12 on the clock for the fourth quarter, and Gilman's got work to do. And they've got just the man to get it done, Pernell Hill.
No, he's definitely clutch as the late game comes by. You know, he's got a strong arm. He can make play on his feet. I wouldn't want anyone else back there for us, Julian. That being said, a lot going against us right now. He's got to overcome a steep deficit, and it's going to be tough, especially with the hostile conditions here.
So now with 12 minutes on the clock for the fourth quarter, we'd like to remind you that you can find all things Greyhound TV at greyhoundtv.org. Once this game's over, you can go back and rewatch this game if you're a member of the Gilman community, logging into YouTube with your account, your Gilman.edu account, whether it be Gilman.edu, students.gilman.edu, or alumni.gilman.edu, to rewatch every single broadcast of the year. So please be sure to do that as we are nearing the end of this one from Mount St. Joe.
The comeback isn't out of question, Julian, but again, it's just going to be
it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot.
lot.
Purnell Hill in the shotgun. Hill over the
got
middle.
him in!
Brandon Madison. There goes Brandon Madison with the reception and the run after the catch. Brandon Madison all the way down the sideline, and he's inside of the Mount St. Joe 10-yard line.
Julian, there's the spark Gilman needed right there. A great play over the middle. Madison breaks free of the coverage. The cornerback couldn't keep up with them, and that's a great first down right there. Gilman now is in position to score the ball. Of course, down more than they're about 3 scores down, so it's going to take a lot more than just that, but that's just the way you want to start off the fourth quarter.
That is exactly what this Gilman offense needed here, as they have 12 minutes here, or about 11:49 now, to come back. 34-13 your score. Purnell Hill, the handoff to Rob Levine. Levine moving around towards the far hash mark, and he will be taken down after a gain of about 2 yards. 11:38 and ticking here from Mount St. Joe. 34-13 the score, with second down coming up. Second down and goal. Looking to the sideline for the call are the Greyhounds, and now they step back. Big Thomas Booker lined up on the right side, the near side of the offensive line.
It's either going to be a good blocking play for him or a reception by him, Julian.
In the game now to the right of Purnell Hill is number 34, Taylor Cashman. Willis in motion. Hill fakes the handoff. Purnell Hill looking for an option to the back of the end zone, and it's incomplete. Looking for the intended receiver, Thomas Booker, but not able to find him. So third down coming up.
So yes, Julian, the mysterious number 34, Taylor Cashman, who we didn't have on our roster.
That's right. That information being provided to us by the athletic department. Thank you very much for that midway through the game.
Had to add that little touch at the end there.
Of course, of course. Got to give credit where credit's due, Nathan.
Yeah. Not before the end, in the middle of the game, but yeah.
Well, we found out halfway through the game,
Yes.
actually. So that's why. Of course, if we had found it earlier, I would have given the appropriate thanks earlier. Lined up under center is Purnell Hill. Third down for Gilman.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's obvious.
It's a false start on Gilman. So that will back the Greyhounds up 5 yards. The Greyhounds, they face a precarious situation, but can their cast iron will get them back in this one? We're about to find out.
Mount St. Joe turned a bad situation to a much better situation. They've been backed up, and now it's going to be a play through the air, and they don't have the luxury of running the ball.
Man in motion, Purnell Hill under center with a back behind him. He's going to take the snap. He's going to fake the handoff, and he's going to get rid of this ball as he's being taken down. It was a forward pass.
So there was a receiver in the play. It will not be intentional grounding. A good job by Purnell Hill to get the ball off in time. As a quarterback, Purnell Hill does that so well. He's getting hit, and he has to throw it away, and he just does a good job. It's a move that you see professional quarterbacks make, and some can't even do that, so it's good to see a guy at the high school level be able to throw the ball away with such success like Purnell does.
The referees drawing boos from the Mount St. Joe crowd, but there was indeed a receiver in the vicinity. Fourth down coming up, and we will have a timeout called by Mount St. Joe.
That timeout, it's also going to help Gilman try to game plan. They need to run something here, probably something towards the corner, the side of the field. They need to get out like that corner spot because the middle of the field is probably going to be pretty covered. I imagine they go to a quarter set here at the defensive side as Gilman's not going to be able to run the ball, so you're going to have to hope a guy's going to break away, kind of get outside of a guy and make a reception towards the sideline.
10:50 on the clock in this game. Gilman down 34-13. They face a fourth down and about 14 yards, so it's fourth down and goal. They've got to get it to the end zone. It's end zone or bust, or a penalty.
Yes, which would be nice also.
This will be a deciding play of the game as the Gilman offense huddles around their head coach, Coach Tim Holly, as well as offensive coordinator Russell Wren. Stepping back into the game ready to get it underway. A huge play here. 4th down and 14. Purnell Hill. He's got Taylor Cashman to his right, Brandon Madison behind him. Brandon Willis lined up as the receiver on the near side. Motion. Hill fakes the handoff, looking for room. He's going to throw, and it's dropped by Gilman. So close to being a reception, but just dropped by the receiver out there and not able to pull it in.
The worst part is he's going to be upset about that, but that was a good play by him being in position. It's tough to catch a ball after he gets bad at Julian because you're going to try to kind of judge where it's going to go after the hand hits it. It's hard to bring that in, and just an unfortunate play. It was a great call by the offensive coordinator because you had a guy sneak back over the left-hand side, and he almost broke free there. Purnell was getting under pressure there, so he couldn't put him right where he needed it to go. But a good play call and a good pass by Gilman, just not able to execute.
Certainly catches you off guard when the trajectory of the ball is changed on a tip, and this pass is completed to the far side for Mount St. Joe, being taken down, but they're marking forward progress, so a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. 10:30 and ticking here from Mount St. Joe High School in Baltimore, Maryland. I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein, our fantastic crew, John Ball, our lead producer, as well as Rhett Dawson, Cesare Cacanti, and of course one of our cameramen, Cole Vincent, and the handoff to James. James going around, and James, the ball's lost! Gilman, can they fall on it? It trickles out of bounds, and it's going to be Mount St. Joe ball as the Gilman, it's going to be, so the ball went out of bounds on the near side, so it will be Mount St. Joe ball.
And Julian, if that had been an inch or two, maybe a foot inside, that would have been Gilman's ball in great field position, and a great job by the tackler to strip it loose and give Gilman a chance to fall on it.
For those of you keeping track of the Orioles, once again, it's 3-0 in New York as Manny Machado just increased the lead with a solo home run. Carter alone in the shotgun on 3rd down and 9, stepping up, trying to find room with his legs and spinning forward. He'll tumble to the ground, and 4th down coming up for the Gaels. I can't imagine they'd be gutsy enough to go for it here. 9:52 in the 4th quarter, and Gilman's going to get another opportunity most likely.
Yeah, and Gilman has to convert here. There's no other real scenario that they win this game without converting in this situation. The time, it's a real crunch right now. And Joey, we've been making assumptions a lot and saying that, they might not do this. They could very well throw the ball here, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. And looks like they are.
In the shotgun, and now we'll have a stoppage, a timeout called by the Hounds.
Yeah, they need to. They're probably expecting a punt, I'd imagine, trying to switch plays up.
You would think so, as number 5, Drew Ehrlich, who was lined up at safety, was riled up by the timeout call, screaming across the line of scrimmage to the Mount St. Joe Gaels.
He's probably pretty fired up. He's a very emotional guy, and you love to see that out of your players. He's definitely wanting to come in there and make a big play.
You would think so. With 9:26 to go here in the 4th quarter. Glad to have everybody along board for the end of this game. If you've been viewing the whole time or if you just tuned in, we're glad to have you here on Greyhound TV. We do this for you, and we're glad to have you with us. The Mount St. Joe crowd just as boisterous as ever.
They have a good crowd, Julian. They're not exactly overwhelming in numbers, but they make a lot of noise, and they do a good job of distracting guys.
So now, Gilman steps back onto the field on defense. 4th down and 4. Mount St. Joe, they're not yielding to the Gilman hesitation. They're going to go for it. 4th down and 4. Carter looking to the sideline. Some interesting signs being given by the coach. I don't understand them, but I'm sure he does.
I hope so. Maybe not.
Still trying to get the correct call.
And they're going to call a timeout.
So a timeout by Gilman and then a timeout by Mount St. Joe, and we're just going to wait as long as possible to get this play done.
Yeah, Julian, again, a good time for commercials right now. If we had any, we could fire a couple off right now with double timeouts. Some air time right here, some dead air that we'd like to fill, but of course we'll be talking about the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's talk more about the game.
Well, I'll start it off then.
Yeah, please.
So right now, it's Mount St. Joe has the ball very far backed up. They're going to have to punt, I imagine. Though they did come out in 5 wide, so you never know. They might go for it. Their offensive coordinator is aggressive, and you like to see that. But, interesting right now, Julian, look what we're seeing. It looks like it's going to be a punt, and it looks like there's no protection there up front. Gilman could try to rush the guy and maybe get a blocked punt if they're careful.
So Mount St. Joe, it's a line drive kick by their quarterback / punter
kick.
Carter, and it's fielded by
He's got
Drew
some room!
Ehrlich.
He's got some room!
Drew Ehrlich with a flag down all the way to the end zone. Drew Ehrlich brings it in, but there is a flag down and an injured Gale.
It might be coming back, Jules.
Let's
What-
await the call here. Drew Ehrlich with the elusiveness, able to stay on his feet after the attempted tackle.
What a great run.
That could be exactly what Gilman needed, but let's await the call.
I think it's coming back. It's going to be a block in the back. That's exactly what you didn't want.
Oh, goodness. So it looks like it is going to be a block in the back by Gilman. Thank you, Nathan, for that very insightful prediction as the chance.
Bring it back, bring it back.
Bring it back, bring it back. 2016 single by the Mount St. Joe crowd. Rhett Dawson loves it. He's dancing.
It's very rhythmic.
It is.
It's like a,
Bring it
it's-
back,
it's
bring it
all-
back.
It's all. They have like the little shakers and they're doing it. They're a real choir. They make a lot of noise and they do a good job.
And it's about time for Gilman to bring it back. And when I say bring it back, I mean bring their score back to on top of Mount St. Joe's score.
Way to tie that in.
That may have been what the crowd was talking about.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well,
Secret ambitions.
you don't want to make assumptions, Julian. There
That
could
you
be
don't.
money riding on this game.
That's right. That's right. Number 14, Piper Bond, lined up in the near side. Hill looking for an option. He's going to lob it
got
over the
it
middle. It's caught! Oh, so close to a touchdown. Just short of the goal line. A great pass completed to Brandon Madison.
He's been so reliable, Julian. He's broken over the middle. I think they've run that exact play a few times, just flipped that time. First time he had coming over the right. It might be something different, but it looked from the way he ran the route, kind of cutting it in. They're not. It's a very soft spot. They're between the two safeties in the middle of the field. They like to hit on that. Gilman has trouble scoring in the red zone, and we'll see if that can change here.
First down and 5. Man in motion is Brandon Willis. Direct snap to Brandon Madison. Willis coming back and
He's not gonna
pushing
get it.
forward. He's close but not quite. Just about 2 yards short with 8:49 to go.
Close but no cigar there, Julian. They're going to come out in a goal line situation. They're going to try a fullback dive or something around that measure. They might be sweeping to the outside, but I can't imagine them throwing it here. It's too risky this close to the red zone. They'll be trying to attack the ball in the run game. They haven't had much success. Mount St. Joe's been very sturdy up front, Julian.
For those of you that are Maryland football fans, DJ Durkin's squad is leading Purdue 29-0 at halftime. Brandon Madison lined up at quarterback. Brandon Willis in motion, and they're going to hand it off up
He's
the
got
middle, and it's a touchdown, Greyhounds.
And Julian, that's not going to bring it back as far as we needed to, but it's certainly going to help out. 2 more touchdowns away. I'd imagine they're going for 2 here just to perhaps try to take the lead, but then again, they could kick it. I don't want to speculate. I would go for 2 there. I'm a gutsy guy, Julian. You know that, but I see points and I want more, Julian. I want them to keep piling it on. But
Maybe
right now,
we should make a trade involving you and a coach on the field.
Oh no,
We'll send
God,
you
I
down
would-
there.
I would be so terrible, Julian. You know that. There's no.
Mandala on to kick it, and this one is up, and it's good. 34-20. Gilman working their way back. 8:17 to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Julian, I might make some critiques on certain things, but the difference between that critiquing things and being an offensive coordinator are vastly different. That's a whole job, and I'm
Yeah.
not qualified, Julian. I wouldn't last a whole day there.
And Nathan, now I think for Gilman, the mindset is, in the words of the great Dick Vermeil, defense, you go dominate.
Yep. Defense, you go dominate, and right now the defense has to go out there and be commanding, Julian. They have to take over the game. If they want to win this game, it's got to come up from the front 4 and then trickle down back to the secondary. They need a turnover. Right now, the best thing that could happen for Gilman is a pick 6 or a fumble 6. They need to produce on the defensive side of the field. With only 8 minutes left, the defense has to step up, not only once, but then again if we get the ball back and score.
So the Gilman kick team coming onto the field here. Gilman slowly but surely working their way back into this game, but they're going to need to make it a little bit less slow over the next 8 minutes. Once again, a big thank you to our entire crew, spearheaded by the masterful lead producer, John Ball, the audio wizard himself,
John the Wizard Ball.
and Rhett Dawson,
John Merlin Ball.
faculty advisor Cesare Cacanti, who does so much for us, including bringing us food. Such a great addition to our day. And then, of course, Cole Vincent on the camera.
Cesare the Malt Slayer.
Yes.
From the,
for those of you that
the
tuned
baseball
in,
game. Yep.
yeah. For those of you that tuned in last year, you know what that's about. And if you haven't tuned
There he
in,
is.
then go back to greyhoundtv.org and check our archives page and take a look.
Got some nicknames around here, Julian. I like it. We're gonna stick those.
John Merlin Ball.
John the Wizard Ball, something like that.
I like it. That needed to be coined, and it has been.
I don't know, maybe like the always happy Rhett Dawson, something like that. I don't know. The always smiling Rhett Dawson.
He is always smiling. Always very happy about whatever's going on. Here comes the kicking unit once again, led by Adero Mandala, the senior, making sure the tee is set. 8:17 to go here in the fourth quarter, and Gilman, they got to complete the comeback. First game of MIAA play.
I'd like to see an onside here, Julian, but they look like they're ready for it. So, there's a fake right there as I talk. So they're going to kick it deep. That's a smart thing to do. They're expecting the onside, and there's so many guys stacked up there. They might actually be able to recover if they put in the right spot in the corner and beat the return man to it.
Mandala ready to charge up and kick, and he does. This one a kick over towards the far side, and it's going towards the sideline, and it's bobbled by Mount St. Joe, and he's going to outrace the return to the blocking team for Gilman, trying to get around the edge, and he does briefly after being pushed out of bounds just across the 20-yard line around the 24.
Julian, that's a great return. He probably ran about 50 yards, but it was 50 yards laterally. He had a good job of getting the ball in the corner in a tough spot and making the most out of it, catching the corner, great blocks down the sideline, and a good return by Mount St. Joe, making nothing into something right there. And now they'll be in better field position than they would be.
That was number 5, Brandon Savage, on the return. Did a great job there of just outracing the Gilman blocking team and finding room to decrease the deficit into their own territory that Mount St. Joe would be facing on the next drive. So they start the drive from the 25.
A lot of DBs out for Gilman.
Carter under pressure, and this one is nearly intercepted by a Gilman lineman.
That could have been a huge turning point in this one, Julian, if he would have hung on to that. But obviously the passes coming there probably upwards of 80 miles per hour, hard into his hand. It's hard to catch this ball, especially on the defensive line. That's like a J.J. Watt play right there.
Yeah.
But a good job by Gilman on first down. They got to do something similar second down.
That was Thomas Booker on the deflection. Carter completed near side and a tackle. After a gain of about 5 yards, that was number 12, Nate Reese, on the reception. So third down and about halfway for the Gaels.
Been running some good short passes here. It's been working for them. They've dinked and dunked it, and they've moved the ball down the field. That's their specialty, and I assume they're going to come to that in third and short.
This is a crucial play. Carter rolling out, needs an option, and he throws it, and it's dropped by number 10, Gary Aggers. He dropped the ball, and Gilman forces the Gaels into a fourth down situation, and that stops the clock. We're going to have to start looking at the clock.
Yes.
7:33 to go in the fourth quarter.
So the ball was knocked loose there, and a good job by the Gilman defense. That's a tough catch to make over deep. It's hard to find the ball, track it, catch it, and then take the hit for a catch, especially at the high school level. Now Gilman's got to hope for a good return. We need Drew Ehrlich to pull off a spectacular return like he did. One looks like Piper Bond.
Yes.
A good return is going to be necessary in scoring points as Gilman has not been able to move the ball well.
This is the first traditional punt of the day for the Gaels. Coming on to kick is number 95 instead of their quarterback, number 1, Christian Carter.
Alzer hit the guy on the outside pretty hard. I assume you saw that on your screen right there. That was a nice little check. Let him know he's there.
Looks like the Mount St. Joe crowd has this interesting tradition, perhaps, of putting ice in their bottles and just shaking them like cowbells.
No, it's good. I like it. It's very unique and an interesting idea, and I think we should probably try to emulate something there.
Oh, and the ball's dropped by the Mount St. Joe punter, and it is recovered by Gilman, who they get up with it, and they've got the ball inside of Mount St. Joe territory, inside the red zone. Could it be, Nathan?
Julian, I thought he was going to pick that up for 6. My heart stopped.
Oh.
Wow, that is huge right there. If Gilman scores quickly, they're gonna give Mount St. Joe the ball back with a one-possession game. Gilman is certainly back into it, but it's not going to be an easy task. It's still uphill.
The intensity has turned up here at Mount St. Joe High School. Plevyak Field. Coming back onto the field is Purnell Hill and the Gilman offense. They need to score, and if they can score, Nathan, it's a one-score game.
Yeah, let's not try to think too far ahead here. Right now, they need to get this first down, or this touchdown. They might be goal. So they need to execute here. It's going to be an interesting call. We'll see what they do with this red zone offense.
Purnell Hill, the handoff to Brandon Madison. Madison around the edge, trying to find room, and he'll be taken down after what looks to be a gain of about a yard.
St. Joe's been tough against the run this entire game, or excuse me, tough against the run. They've been stuffing the run all game, Julian. The outside plays worked at the beginning. They're no longer working. Gilman had only real success through the air deep. So if you're Gilman right now, it's not a lot you can do because not a lot's been working for you, especially in the red zone.
Purnell Hill with Brandon Madison to his left side. Brandon Willis lined up as the receiver on the near side. Rolling is Hill. Hill needs an option. It's a high lob, and it is incomplete as it was intercepted out of bounds.
So, yeah, he was able to catch the ball there, Julian, but not able to drag both feet. A great job by the cornerback at Mount St. Joe, making a big play there, just not able to get the feet down. Gilman now facing the 3rd and long. It's going to be tough, but, they've been successful in the past, and they got the ball in such good field position, Julian, they have to capitalize.
6:45 to go in the fourth quarter. 34-20. Purnell Hill. 3rd down and what looks to be about 11, maybe 10 yards.
Piper Bond's by himself on the right side. Look at that matchup. They might get something there.
Hill back to pass, and he's immediately under pressure, and this one is lobbed up and almost caught on the deflection by a Gilman offensive lineman, but it is incomplete.
Good for him not to catch that because that would have been a huge loss.
Yeah.
So he batted it down. That was almost picked off by Mount St. Joe, which would have been extremely deflating for Gilman and probably would have ended this game. It's 4th down.
And they've got to go for it.
And they've got to go for it, Julian. This is essentially the game unless Gilman is able to pull off another fantastic stop and get the ball back in good field position.
A make-or-break play coming up for the Greyhounds. I'd like to remind all of you that you can follow Greyhound TV on Twitter at Greyhound_TV for everything Gilman sports. Catch all the action on Greyhound TV. Follow us on Twitter. Piper Bond in motion. Purnell Hill lined up with a pistol. This crowd is loud. And we'll have a timeout call by Gilman.
Yeah, and so back to the chant that we were trying to see what the noise was earlier, what the song was that we tweeted out. Johnny was able to respond with it was a chant for Maryland, but we still don't know the song.
Yes, we don't know the song.
We don't know the song. We know it is a chant for Maryland.
I knew that because I've been to a lot of Maryland basketball games and I recognized it from that, but I don't know what the song is called. So
I think it's like a guitar riff maybe.
Who knows? We'll find out after the game, and if you guys are at all curious, you can come ask me if you know me, and if you don't, you're out of luck.
Julian, you're a great guy to know. I'd feel very bad not knowing you. I think everyone should know you, and I'm sure everyone now does know you. Now watching this broadcast,
I'm flattered.
Yes, you and your the best thing about you, Julian, incredibly humble. That's one of the best things. If you can hang your hat on one thing, it's how humble he is. He's hardworking, and he never gloats. He'll never say something, to the extent of, how good he is.
Nathan, you are a savant of sarcasm.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
I love it. No, it's all good here in the Greyhound TV booth.
Nothing but love, Julian.
6:39 to go in the fourth quarter, and Gilman faces a do-or-die situation. Their fate rests in the hands of number 2, Purnell Hill. Moving behind Hill is Brandon Madison.
In the pistol.
Zach Jones in motion. Hill, back to pass, needs an option, and it's caught.
It's a hook and ladder!
He got it! Touchdown!
Unbelievable!
Oh my goodness! A flag is down. What a play! It's the old hook and ladder for Gilman.
I can't believe that worked. That's stunning.
If they call that back, that would be an atrocity.
Wow.
Waiting for the call. And Piper Bond is not happy. Purnell Hill trying to argue his case.
Looks like it's against Gilman and Julian. What a fantastic play and a great call.
Oh my goodness.
It worked out. I can't believe it.
That being called back.
That hurts.
It's an illegal forward pass.
What?
Oh. I don't know what to say. They're claiming that the hook and ladder was a forward pass. So when he lateraled it, they're saying it was a forward pass.
Oh, wow. That's hard. I think if you would go back and look at the replay, that would be, it's a close, but when you look at plays that haven't been called laterals, that Titan pass that won them the playoff game, you can remember that?
2000.
2000.
Between the Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo
Bills.
Bills.
A forward lateral that they didn't call. This was so much more of a backward pass. I don't like the call there, Julian. I gotta say that's a bad call.
Yeah, in that call, the
honestly,
tight end Frank Wycheck. He lateraled it back to the wide receiver Kevin Dyson, and they reviewed that one a million times, and eventually they determined that it was indeed right across the field, which is a lateral, not a forward pass. It was almost directly in a 180-degree angle across the field. The ref there, he says no good. So Carter hands off to James, and James running up the middle, and he'll be taken down after a gain of about 3 yards, maybe 2. That's a heartbreaker, Nathan.
Julian, that was such a fantastic call and such a fantastic play. And, you know, I'm sure they worked at that for this scenario, and it works out beautifully. That's such a rare play that you'll get to work out. A hook and lateral is so unique because it doesn't work most of the time, and it's a really risky play. And the fact that they were able to convert that in something like a forward pass, it's just heartbreaking.
Low snap, handoff to James, and James around the far side near the far hash mark gets a first down and a little bit more.
Now time is going to be a factor, Julian. Gilman has to hurry up and try to score very quickly now, and I believe we did get the name of the song.
It is
The
Hey Song by Gary Glitter. Thank you, Cesare.
Cesare Kaji, a master of songs as well as a master of slaying moths.
That he is. That he is. The legend will never die, but the moth will. 5:56 left in the fourth quarter.
I will remind you that the moth actually is still alive. He's out there somewhere plotting his revenge. We did not actually kill him.
We did not.
But we did knock him out of the air, or was our faculty advisor, Cesare Kakanti, the moth slayer.
5:42 to go. Carter hands off to James. James getting through the pile. Gain of 7.
And it's so tough to bring him down. He's such a sturdy running back. And, you know, he did a good job there staying on his feet. And if Mount St. Joe can continue to pile up first downs, this game's getting close to being over.
5:23.
And Julian, had that hook and lateral have not been called back, that would have been a touchdown in a one-possession game with about 6 minutes left, and Gilman would have been in a reasonable position where they could have come back, and it wouldn't have been that surprising from that point on.
It's really a killer what happened just a few moments ago involving that play. Carter looks to the sideline, waiting for the call, screaming out to his offensive line, just trying to kill clock here as it winds under 5 minutes. Hand off to James. James looking for room, and he'll be taken down by big Thomas Booker behind the line. So now, Gilman faces a third down situation where they need to stop the Gaels.
And again, Julian, it's now or never at this point because there's 4 minutes left and the clock's ticking down. Gilman needs to get the ball and score twice, so the situation is becoming dire. Gilman has to hope a lot of things go in their way if they want to win this one.
4:25 on the clock. It's third down. Carter alongside James in the backfield, and he hands it off to James, and James, he's got room, he's got a first, and there goes James across the 50-yard line, and Nathan, that could be the daggers, but there's a flag out.
And you know, the way this game's been going, it might just go against Gilman just because. Seems like these calls have been against us, and it will be against us again.
And there's another flag out, and I think this one's going to be against Gilman because of some talking. You can see Antonio DeCerbo, number 32, not happy about that call, perhaps because he was the instigator.
Number 6 over there pleading his case. This might be against St. Joe. I don't know what they're exactly calling over here. No, we'll be against Gilman.
So St. Joe will get a free ride to about the, let's see where they put it. Looks to be about the 34-yard line. And even farther they go. Boy, is this upsetting.
Real killer.
Carter hands this one off. A new running back checks into the game, and he'll be taken down. That was number 20 on the carry, Marlo Wax Jr. And he'll check out of the game and hand running back duties to number 4, Sam James, once again. Oh, how the tides have turned. Or tables have turned. I think it's the tides have changed and the tables have turned. My, oh, my.
Or the tables. Never mind.
Falling apart here as Carter lofts this one incomplete through the hands of number 14, Matthew McDonald. 3:23 to go in the fourth quarter, and Gilman's just trying to hold on for some sense of life. Of course, glad to have all of you with us here on Greyhound TV. This is, of course, the first game of the MIAA regular season for Gilman. Carter, under pressure, stepping up, and he will be taken down after what looks to be a gain of about 5 yards.
People are continuing on with these chants, and right now Mount St. Joe is just grinding out this clock. The game is becoming farther and farther out of Gilman's hands, and if you're St. Joe, you just want to keep it up, and they have the defensive coordinator, I assume, talking to their guys, maybe the special teams unit, just saying, hey, be careful, wrap up, guys, don't let them break off anything big because they need a lot of points to come back in this one.
Man in motion, Carter, back to pass, fakes, pumps once to the end zone.
wide
He
open.
goes, and it's tipped and incomplete. Great play by the defensive back for Gilman on that one. McDonald was waiting for it in the end zone, but not able to get it to him.
He scurried over and put a hand out there, Julian. That's great safety play. That's why they call him the center fielder. They have to cover that whole back area of the field, and he raced over there and got a hand on it, and that's exactly what you want to do. Swatting it away because that guy was wide open.
So now Gilman gets the ball back with 2:41 to go. Of course, a big thank you to our entire crew, led by John Ball, alongside Rhett Dawson, Cesare
John Whistle
Kikante,
Ball.
yes, John Merlin Ball, as well as Cole Vincent.
Happy Cole Vincent. Right now, Gilman has to come back. 2 touchdowns, and Julian, you know, there's still some hope left.
Purnell Hill lined up with a shotgun by himself. Hill needs an option, pumps, pulls it back, and this one is incomplete as he's hit as he throws. 2nd down and 10 coming up with 2:35 to go on the clock.
You know, one good note, Julian, is the rain seemed to have subsided to some degree.
Certainly. So if you were planning any sort of outdoor activity
A
for
picnic.
later today,
Yeah.
you've got your conditions.
Good picnic weather right now. A little bit misty, a little bit. There's still some precipitation. Julian, now I hand it over to you now.
Perhaps we'll have a picnic after this
Oh,
game.
that sounds delicious.
Purnell Hill in the shotgun. Brandon Madison to his right as he claps his hands, waiting for the snap. Hill, quick pass, and this one is incomplete,
He
perhaps
picks it off.
intercepted. And it looks like it was incomplete as it hit the ground, says the referee. Number 3, Joseph Jones, almost able to get it.
Yeah, from this angle, it actually did look like he picked it, but I think the ref had a better view than we did for all the way up here. That ball hit the ground.
Instituting instant replay wouldn't be a bad thing in high school sports now, would it, Nathan? As, of course, maybe they could have reviewed that hook and ladder on the lateral, and maybe that could have stood.
Yep, that was the turning point in this game.
Flag is out,
It's going to be a false start on Gilman.
and it is. 2:27 to go, and Gilman just trying to hold on here and maybe push something down the field, get a quick score, something. They don't have any, they have 1 timeout left. So they would have to score and get an onside kick, which they've done today. Hill stepping up. Hill needs an option, and he's taken down in the backfield. And the ball's loose. Let's see what they say. May have been recovered by Gilman. That's the initial inclination. Now under 2 minutes on the clock. 4th down and almost 20 yards.
With 1:50 left, it is officially now or never.
Purnell Hill gets rid of it, and it is incomplete, and that will end Gilman's hopes.
Save a miracle, Julian. Save some divine intervention. That looks like that's going to do it. They battled hard all game, and that hook and lateral, that was really their last chance of winning the game. And it got overturned. It was, in my opinion, it was a questionable call because, it did look like it was behind, but I didn't get a great view on it. So, you never know. But it certainly came down to that point, and Gilman unable to execute. But, I think they fought hard all game, and you can't be upset with the way the Hounds played today.
You certainly cannot be. They fought hard the entire game. Gilman will drop to 1-4 on the season, 0-1 in the MIAA. Completely inverted for Mount St. Joe as they hand off to James. St. Joe will rise to 4-1 overall and 1-0 in MIAA play. As 1:24 on the clock, just a few more snaps until we hit triple zeros at Mount St. Joe as the rain is starting to pick up again.
So maybe our picnic is going to be canceled, Julian. I was really looking forward to it. I was thinking maybe a checker blanket on a nice hillside. We can have some turkey sandwiches.
Maybe some caviar.
That sounds delicious.
I think we can make it just as fancy as possible and be fantastic.
It's all about keeping it classy, but keeping it simplistic. You like the transcendentalist view of nature around you as you eat some gourmet sandwiches, Julian.
Thank you, Thoreau.
You're welcome. Slight nod to English class.
As the knee will be taken, and they'll need one more to officially close it out.
So, save a Tony Dungy recovery for a touchdown. This game, it looks like all over. If you remember the Eagles against the Giants, fumbled kneel.
Pizarczyk fumbled, and it was recovered by Herm Edwards, and he took it back for the touchdown.
Many years later, he became the first African-American coach to win a Super Bowl.
That's right. As that will end the game. And the Hounds take the loss to Mount St. Joe 34-20 on this gloomy Saturday afternoon.
Jules, again, as I said, they fought hard all game. It was a close game. Mount St. Joe played well the entire game. They stopped them up front. That was the biggest thing. They stopped the Hounds' running attack early. They made key plays when it matters. Their red zone defense was phenomenal all game. But, Gilman played well, and, you can't shake your head or shake a stick at them. I thought it was a good game by both teams.
And the Greyhounds will be back on the gridiron next week, this time against St. Francis and on their home turf in Roland Park. That'll be at 4 o'clock on October 7th. Don't miss it. That will be live on Greyhound TV. So for our entire fantastic crew, John Ball, Rhett Dawson, Cole Vincent, and Cesare Cacanti, I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein saying have a fantastic long weekend, and we will see you next week on Greyhound TV. Have a nice weekend, everybody.